tired of watching the same boring old sports shows? Try this on for size.
His play style, yeah. I think he's the best at pretty much everything.
You're watching the What the Show with Jose Ruckus and JiggaMan Porto. And now, the best damn sports show on the internet. What the
What's up, internet? Welcome to What the best damn sports show on the internet. It's Tuesday.
The intro says it, bro. The intro says it. It has to be real.
And that's not one of us that was on that intro. So
Nope.
That's a different person's opinion.
Internet would never lie, boys.
Never. You know, just like
we got a pretty big night tonight. Like, we got a really big list of some hot news stories. We got some pickleball action finally getting involved in the show.
It's here. We got pickle juice. What's up, dude? I'm
We're gonna
excited
rip
for
some
that.
packs tonight, man. We got all kinds of stuff going on.
You know what's even crazier though is we always try to come in on Tuesdays with like, hey, here's what's gone on over the week, and we try to have graphics and prepare, and we do that all the time. But there was so much that dropped today that we don't even have graphics, but there's no way we can't talk about that stuff.
Exactly.
Can we start with Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch getting pulled over in Vegas for a DUI. Man, that's not what you want to hear about, especially like for me. Marshawn, my all-time favorite NFL player. I absolutely love the dude. I hate to see that, man. That sucks.
Yeah. And it was one of those ones too. When I read it at first, I was like, how bad was it? You shouldn't do it regardless. Obviously, not condoning that, but it's Vegas, right? Is that where he was?
Yeah, that's what I read.
So first, I'm like, why are you driving in Vegas? First of all,
What do you
If
have to
I'm
prove?
Yeah. What are you driving in Vegas? But number two, then I was like, oh man, how bad could it be? But then they released the mug shot. Oh my gosh! I was like, yo, Marshawn. There ain't no way you weren't fooling nobody. I wonder if he even tried giving it the good look too, right? I'm good. Nah, it was bad. It was bad.
I mean, Marshawn.
Closed.
Marshawn. I mean, I've never gotten to meet the guy, but he seems like a really good dude. But he does have a history of some, not great decision making. There was early on in his NFL career, he had the hit and run incident in Buffalo.
Yep.
He eats Skittles.
Maybe
in the middle of the game.
Marshawn, let's get you a private driver, my friend. Let's get you a chauffeur.
Exactly.
We don't have to worry about this ever again.
If you're not going to get off the sauce, then you got to get a private driver, bro. Like, you have to, okay? You almost whooped the kid's ass in the SCF this year thanks to the sauce, all right? I'm just saying, we all witnessed it, okay?
Patrick Dees makes sure Marshawn comes into town. He's got the chauffeur.
Listen, Marshawn, in Atlanta, bro, when you come for FCF seasons, I'll drive you, my boy. I got you. All right.
We'll
I
you
won't
up.
sauce at all. We got
For
this
free.
covered. Man, that one was a crazy one. That was a crazy one.
Yeah, that's
Now, you had brought up something that we started talking about a little bit before the show with the
Yeah,
NFL,
this one's super weird. So, as we all know, Live Golf has been making a run of just picking up all these major golfers, guys like Koepka, Nicholas, DeChambeau, like all these, like DJ, all these top guys in golf and stuff with these huge contracts.
Yankees won. Sorry.
That one got me good.
Yeah, I try to keep
guy.
a straight face too,
That's
as Richie's
my
laugh
guy.
came in.
Dude, you know how it goes.
All right, so they
But
were saying something about the contract.
So Live
Back
Golf has
golf.
just been coming through, making a run with these huge contracts for players. Right now, because the PGA is trying to keep the Live Golf's guys out of some of these smaller tournaments, not the majors, more the small, like the FedEx Open and stuff like that. They're suing right now to be able to play in these tournaments. And today, in court, the lawyer for Live Golf said that the players need the emergency funds provided by the PGA because prize money is recouped from their contracts. I don't know the full details of what this means, but it appears to be that if you win $1 million in a Live Golf tournament, they take $1 million out of the guarantee from your contract?
That doesn't make any sense. So you get penalized for winning. You're getting money taken from your contract for winning is how it sounds.
Yeah, I don't know the full details. It was a thing that was just said in court today, but it's been all around the golf. If you're following golf news, you probably saw this today. It leaves a huge question about exactly what's going on. Did these guys just see the signing bonus and sign away without looking at the details? What's going on over at Live Golf?
And was it every one of them? Like, yes, dotted line, but then that really fine print that says
who actually reads? No one.
Well, you're hoping your agent does.
No, they don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, please do not send any links for MetaMask to Coach Richie. All right, he's just signing away,
spamming.
Yeah, that's just boomer. That's just horrible business, man. I mean, terrible. To do that, it just sucks. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, so another thing that we were talking about just before we went live with the show, Richie, you're excited for this Hard Knocks business tonight, huh?
Oh, man. I mean, I know maybe it's just Detroit fans that are excited about it, but I think being the low man on a totem pole for so long with Detroit and people are excited about it, not just Detroit fans, but the national media are really excited. You're already seeing some viral clips of Jamal Williams, who I think is going to be he's awesome.
I love Jamal Williams. He's so funny.
He's ridiculous. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see if, people can sort of jump on this little Lions bandwagon and not just be the little brother. I know everybody's like, oh, Detroit, we feel bad for you guys.
You guys have maybe the most entertaining coach of all time with Dan the Man Campbell. I mean, the stuff that guy says, man, he's crazy.
I feel bad, though, Coach Richie, because I literally had no idea.
It's all right.
Hard Knocks started tonight.
I'm hard out
against
at 10.
The Lions. I just hard out at 10. All right, ladies. Let's speed it up.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I've been watching clips all day. I went to the Rams training camp, wore a Stafford Lions jersey. I was like, boo. So it was a good day.
Don't stop there. Let everybody know that you were also waving at Stafford. And your wife was like, do you know somebody? He's like, yeah. It's Stafford.
It's Matthew. It's
my buddy Matthew.
He didn't wave back, by the way.
For those of you that care, Hard Knocks is on.
It's tonight. On HBO, starting at 7:00 Pacific time. So that's 10 o'clock Eastern time for you people. So I did that 1, 2, 3 quick.
You don't want to leave here. 10 o'clock leads into pickle juice. How you doing?
Oh, pickle juice. That's right. I forgot.
You can check it out at a different time. I mean, that's the great thing about HBO. You get the HBO Max. You can watch it whenever you want.
Exactly. Beautiful.
Thanks,
Beautiful. Guys, can we talk about Kareem Hunt wanting a trade? Denied by the Browns.
Denied. Yeah, he's in the last year of his contract. He wants a re-up. They don't want to give him another contract, being that he's not their number one running back, right?
No.
So, but I mean, they want to maintain that thunder and lightning they get from the two guys, because that was what's so impressive about them last year, is that they have this incredible dynamic running game with these two. I mean,
Nick
Chubb
is like one of the best hard runners I've seen in a really long time.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys think? Because for me, number one, I understand that I want to trade. Whatever, it's common at this point, right? We get it from everybody at this point, right? I don't like the cereal they serve me. I want to trade. Now, do you not think it would benefit him to just get through this season and prove that they possibly have the best 1-2 punch with him and Nick Chubb? Arguably, I think they have the best running back tandem.
They do, and that's why he should not play at all.
Correct. Think about it. How many running backs? Deal? No, how many running backs get the second big time deal?
And when you're not the number one running back on a team,
you don't get it. You don't. I mean, there's not a running back out there that gets a second term.
Yeah, and he's had a history of some injury problems throughout the years. I think that honestly he should sit next year. His value is going to be just as high as it is this year.
Correct.
And yeah, like he can really only hurt himself, right? That's literally, he can only hurt himself.
Literally. Yeah, it's true. Now let's say he plays, right? And the season goes really well. Do you see a situation where he gets that second contract from the Browns?
Not from the Browns. No, he'll
Not
get it
from-
from
yes.
somebody else. The
Not from the
Browns will
Browns.
bring in a young second running back to replace
Starving
him.
team.
Probably
Houston
won't
Texans.
be. Yeah, it probably won't be as good. But yeah, like I mean, you talk about the Houston Texans. David Johnson's leaving
now-
pretty soon. His contract
Get
is
out of my
ending.
head. And he's old now, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
actually,
young.
he's really not that old. He's just had
No,
injury
but-
problems for so long. If you
but the
remember, like his
problem-
2015 season when he like blew up, that was his rookie year.
And that's the thing,
So-
these running backs, man, 26. Once they hit that 26, I listen to a lot of fantasy and dynasty stuff, but once they hit that 26 years old, it's like, yeah, you're old. You're old news.
Think about
now, man.
Todd
We
Gurley. He was the best running back in the
Who?
world for 2 or 3 seasons, and now he's not even in the league anymore.
Not even there.
Yeah. Now, what
Correct.
do you guys? I mean, the thing that's bugging me is why wouldn't they all approve the trade? Do they just think they won't get something good in return? Like you would think you would get at least something decent for him, right? And if he's your running back number 2, why go through the drama or the risk of him just saying I'm not going to play?
I
Doesn't
think
make
they
sense.
assume that they have leverage over him to where he will play.
Especially after
Maybe
the Baker
they'll-
situation.
Maybe they will actually test to see if he's willing to sit out, because he hasn't said that he's going to sit out. He's
Right,
just said that he
right.
wants a trade.
A trade.
But
But it seems to be the normal process, right? Trade, no, sit out. Okay.
yeah,
right?
so maybe we're just like
Basically.
waiting to get through that process. Maybe it's. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say,
Speculation.
but like maybe they just don't have enough depth at running back that they're not willing to like
Makes
risk it
sense.
at this point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not enough talent
Well,
behind it.
I thought it was definitely something to talk about. And and again, I still think arguably if he does play, they've got the best one of the best 1-2 punches in the league,
Yes.
right? And you're relying on their run game because right now, I am not going to say the man's name, but they have quarterback situations going on over there. I'm not doing it for another week in a row talking about this specific person. So obviously they're going to rely on the run game if he's not their starter. Okay.
Come to Seattle, Kareem. Let's make a trade.
Yeah, you guys desperately need help over there. If you had
No,
Drew Lock
Rashad
at
Penny's
100%.
finally going to play more than 3 games this year.
Hey, let's
Yeah,
calm
he'll
down
play
there.
his 4th and then get injured.
Don't worry, we see Seattle like week 5. I'll be at the game, by the way. So
Ooh.
just saying, I'll be at that Seattle game in Detroit.
Nice.
I'm not
Everybody in the
coming to
chat,
Detroit.
we're also starting a new thing. I'm not doing it. Chat,
I'm not staying
if there's
in Detroit.
topics you want to talk about, we're gonna just throw them in there. New thing we want to do on Tuesdays. There's something you saw that you think we all should discuss? Throw it in there. We want to talk about it with you guys. For instance, how about Yankees Morning Brew? Zach Wilson seems like he hit puberty this offseason. Yeah, he got with Stifler's mom, bro. And all of a sudden, the dude's got the dog in him, man. It's
I
great.
gotta Google this real quick.
I don't
Gotta
because I mean the
Google-
reports out of Jets camp right now is that Joe Flacco's out playing. Zach
Oh,
Wilson.
Bet he
I
is.
don't want to hear it. All right. Hey, I'm happy Joe's our backup.
Just
But,
show
but,
him
you
the
know.
forearm. Show him the forearm. Okay, show it to him.
But you know what? Yesterday was like brutal for me, injury wise. You had Mekhi Becton on the Jets,
Mm.
done for the
Yep.
season. Same day,
happened? Oh, man.
Carpenter on the Yankees with his foot fracture, done. I was like, oh, I can't handle this. No more injuries today, please. 2 of my teams just taking a complete hit, and it was devastating. Let's see. Dohan, as a Rams fan, excited to see Bobby Wagner tackling Sea Chicken running backs for a loss. Coming in strong. Jose, would you like to address this one?
Please
I got my.
address.
I am going to be rooting for. I won't be rooting for the Rams, but I will be rooting for Bobby Wagner in every single game that we see him in.
Dude, he's gonna look good.
He's one of my all-time
Okay.
favorite players. I got the jersey right there. I think we disrespected him quite a bit. I'm going to
Prove
be rooting
it.
for Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, and that's one thing we can definitely say about Jose, right? His loyalty to a player. Same as you, Richie. I mean, you're at training camp today with your Lions just because you love Matt. You're like, Matt, I love you.
I cried when he won the Super Bowl. My wife has a video. I was so proud for that kid. I don't mean, it's like coming from Detroit. Darn it! I mean, the kid
Now-
gave us everything.
As a contrast, I will not be rooting for Russell Wilson this year.
Screw you, Denver.
Oh my God! You know what? I didn't even think of this. You guys will see the new trend that Wilson's
Wearing his
now
own
on
jersey.
the internet, right? No,
Wearing
no.
his own jersey.
You haven't seen it?
When
With
he
his
did you no
Let's
did you
Ride?
did you what the Broncos
you
Let's
were-
Ride, that's been going around for a while. What Richie's
Yeah,
referring
that's
to
terrible.
is hilarious. Which he's walking through the tunnel to training camp, and that's when the players like to show off the swag, right? They got their cool outfits on. Russ even has a history of wearing some dope outfits when he's coming through the tunnel.
Yes.
When he walked into Broncos training camp, he was wearing a Russell Wilson Broncos jersey.
Who was it? Michael Irving. He was like, in all my NFL career, I've never seen a player wear their own jersey.
That's so
Like,
good.
come on, bro.
Hey, that's your QB. Or no, was
Not no
your
more.
QB.
That's
All right, you know what?
QB.
Talking QBs.
Uh-oh.
What's going on with Jimmy G? What is the holdup? I mean, obviously the shoulder, right? We know that was late. That was like March time, right? That he said he would jump into doing the surgery. So obviously I thought that would cause a little bit of delay. But you see some film of him throwing, looks okay. What is the biggest thing holding the 49ers back from getting rid of him or giving him a chance to go somewhere else? This was the golden boy at one point of the Patriots. I thought he was the future. Yeah, because the Patriots did what Patriots do, right? They said, next. What are your thoughts? Rich, I'll start with you. What's going on with Jimmy?
Maybe he's not as good as everybody wants him to be. I mean, I know that he's done good things in San Francisco, but I mean, there's a reason why they drafted Trey Lance, right? I mean, you're looking for that next talent. You're looking for somebody to take your team to the next level. Are you winning because of the quarterback? Or are you winning with the quarterback? That's two different things, boys. Are you winning because of, or are you winning with? And I think Jimmy G is a with. A Jared Goff, a with. A Kirk Cousins, a with. Russell Wilson in Seattle, because of, right? Because Russell can extend the play.
True.
He can move around in that pocket. So does Jimmy G possess? We need that in the NFL nowadays. I mean, very, very limited mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Not happening as much as they are nowadays.
Jose, does this guy sound like a coach? Oh my God.
He does.
Bravo.
We do see with Jimmy G. Jimmy G he's a decent quarterback. You can think of him like a Baker Mayfield. You can think of him like,
less mobile.
Any of these, where he's a guy who's pretty good. He has some really good games. I've always said that Jimmy G will do one thing in a game that you watch the play and it's like, oh, that just lost us the game. And maybe it doesn't actually end up losing you the game, but Jimmy G will have one play a game where he loses you the game. Right. And obviously the shoulder surgery is why he's not on a team right now, right? Why a trade hasn't happened. There's the physicals, all these things you have to go through to get a trade
Yeah, but
done.
the thing is, you do have supposedly teams that are reaching out that are still interested in trading for him, and the 49ers are the ones holding it up. So that's where I'm kind of like mind-boggled. Like, I look at some teams in the league that could definitely benefit from having a Jimmy G, and even Dohan has the first one I had on my list, right, that I sent to you guys, the Giants.
Oh, man, Daniel Jones. You got to have that mobile quarterback back there, man.
Danny Dimes, baby. Come
Listen,
on. You got to let him ride.
Of course, you want to give Danny Dimes another chance. I'm not a Giants fan, so I'm not going to knock you. But
you're not.
You're telling me you don't think Jimmy G might be a little bit of an upgrade from Danny Dimes?
I think it's a lateral move. I mean, it's lateral and the longevity of it. I mean, yes, Danny Dimes has to prove himself.
For the Giants?
You really think Jimmy G? You think Jimmy G is going to come in and make that team better? No.
Dude, but I think he's going to do a little bit better than Danny Dimes. I'm sorry.
A little bit better, so you're out of the...
You're watching preseason tape too, and you can't sit there and tell me how many passes wide open Danny Dimes isn't hitting on.
But you look at the Giants last year, and Daniel Jones was their entire offense with his running game, right? They have the worst wide receiver core in like the last 10 years of the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry.
So
Giants,
a check down passer like Jimmy G is not going to do a whole lot there.
Correct.
You don't think so? With a healthy Saquon dumping out to Saquon?
No, because they have nothing else. You can't Saquon. You got who? Kadarius Toney, who's a nutcase.
Listen, this is what we're here for. The debate, all right? So you tell me, if Jimmy G's going somewhere, where are you putting him, Jose?
As he walks away.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. This is obviously an in-division trade, which makes it a bit weird. I would not mind Jimmy G being on the Seahawks for a couple years. Another thing to note here is the weirdness of Jimmy G's contract, which his contract is surprisingly large with guaranteed money. I think it's sitting somewhere between like 26 is I think the number that comes to mind. And so there's conversations about whether or not the 49ers are willing to pay a decent part of that contract in order to get a higher pick. It's a very weird situation where like teams that are tight on cap, teams like the Browns, who might be in need of a quarterback for a decent part of the season, just lost a lot of capital trading for a quarterback already. And some teams might be a little strapped for cash to bring in a quarterback who has a weirdly large contract for his playing ability. It's kind of a tough situation.
If this wide receiver or quarterback that we will not say his name anymore over in Cleveland, if that situation comes to fruition, that, fingers crossed it happens, do you see a spot that Jimmy G makes sense going to the Browns?
I think it would make sense. I don't think they have the capital to bring him in.
They don't. That's back to
San Francisco,
right?
San Francisco is absolutely asking for a first-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think that they're willing to throw in cash to make it happen. I think they're willing to pay probably half his contract. And the Browns just don't have that capital anymore. They just traded away their entire future to get he who should not be named. That's the most aggressive of the day. All right, so I've got no video of this, but at this point, I'm pretty sure everybody has seen it. The AB dance.
I have not. Does that surprise you?
Leave it to Richie. I come on the show, but no idea what we're talking about. Oh my gosh. There's videos everywhere. Now, here's the thing. Do your thing, AB. I love it, okay? Listen, everybody acts like AB just, it's a dance. It's stupid. Do you guys remember he was on Dancing with the Stars? AB got some moves.
He does.
AB knows how to dance, and now he got half the NFL doing his little lean back, dancing dance.
Have you listened to his music?
Now that's a negative. That's where I say I was listening to the music. All right. I'm guessing you have. What are your thoughts?
I don't like many athletes before whom tried, Kobe Bryant, several others. AB, don't. You don't got it, man.
Damian Lillard.
Dame might be the best.
Pretty good.
Actually, what's his name? He was on the Warriors, and then he went to the Lakers.
Shaq like that? You're gonna
Shaq Deasy.
Shaq Deasy,
wow.
of course. Yeah.
Because damn shit for you. Come on now.
Yeah.
Who was the guy? He was on the Warriors. He won a ring with the Warriors. Then he went to the Lakers. The center. What's his name? Trips over his own feet a lot. Anybody know?
Do we got a cricket button? Do we have a soundboard?
Yeah, I was looking for it.
Hey,
we'll find it. But look, even Jason Wright, Shaq the Diesel did it legit. All right, Jose's looking it up. Yeah.
I'm looking it up.
Listen, I will literally pay $10 to anybody in the chat this week that wants to send in a video to KOD Media of you doing the AB dance. You send it, you're getting $10 sent over to your wallet, all right? Just
and
give
I'll
me an AB dance. Except Richie.
I'll piggyback.
You're doing
I was gonna piggyback with you and give you some awesome things to come with it, but no, you just
I got it.
$10.
JaVale McGee.
Did he do music?
He won a Grammy.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. In his spare time, he produces, and he's actually pretty good.
Okay, there we go. Look at Jose dropping little sprinkles of knowledge on what this.
No. Internet.
But he said that center with the triple.
I had to Google it, but I knew it was in there.
All right, here's another NFL topic I want to address this week. You guys see that the NFL talking about illegal contact calls? They're wanting to see the refs pay more attention to it this season. So I guess the issue is every year it averages about 97 illegal contact calls. Of course, for those of you watching that don't know, I don't know how you're watching a sports show, but you the hands past the 5 yards on the wide receiver, legal contact. Now that also results in 5 yards and a first down, right?
Yeah,
correct.
Last year, that was only called 36 times completely around the league. So it's the first time they've seen a dip that much.
Let him play. Jesus.
Thank you. So that was my thing.
Sorry.
Is this another, flag football is around the corner situation? Or why aren't you letting them play?
Because they need more points to be scored.
So I'm of two minds with this. I'm of two minds with this. One, it is, just let the guys play. Just let the defenders have a huge disadvantage in this league right now. So just let them. Jesus. But so this isn't the first time that the NFL has put focus on illegal contact.
Yep.
If you remember, following the 2012 season when the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl, they were like, "Hey, you ever notice how Richard Sherman is constantly grabbing receivers? Maybe we should put a focus on that."
Oh, that's right.
And so sometimes it is a good thing to just sort of focus down. Some cornerbacks really rely on the strategy of tugging at jerseys and stuff to slow a guy down. So I don't remember it being a huge issue last year, but obviously they're looking at something that I'm not.
But you see, but that's what I'm thinking too. Like, I don't feel like I ran into a lot of, it wasn't called, right? So it was, are they doing better? Are we seeing the defensive guys get better at it? Is it that they weren't calling it? I guess, like you said, maybe they're seeing something we're not. But I just feel like, again, it's another one of those things. Hey, you were not throwing enough flags, and it's like, good Lord.
I mean, if we're going to really focus on something, I remember it was like 2 years ago, they were talking about when the running back drops his crown down to they're like, oh, we're going to focus on that. I've never seen that penalty ever called, and running backs do that all the time. So, I mean, is this just hey, we're going to appease the teams, right? Like, oh, we're going to focus on it and then actually not focus on it?
I would say this, actually, to Richie's point. I think this is maybe a bit of a nothing story. Every year, referees are given a couple points of emphasis to look at things. The running back dropping the crown was one that it was really going after a couple specific guys who were doing it repeatedly.
That was a big Adrian Peterson thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I can't remember who it was last year, but there was one or two guys who were like doing it habitually, where it was like, for your own safety, we really need you to stop doing that.
Just do what Derrick Henry does and throws people off.
Exactly.
Golly.
So I would expect this is going to be, we see this every year for the first 2 or 3 games. You're going to see this get called a lot, and then it's going to drop down. It's just a point of emphasis where they're saying, hey, we watched a lot of games last season. You're letting the guys from the 6 to the 7 yard line, you're letting guys get away with this a bit too much, right?
Yeah,
and then it's going to get overcorrected.
Means there was a lot of complaints after games by offenses. Yeah, possible, right? Like you gotta.
I bet it is actually something where it's very hard because Coach Richie's falling asleep here. He froze up on me there for a second. No, not anymore.
Okay.
I bet this was a situation where, because they are allowed contact within 5 yards. I bet this was a thing where between like 6 and 7 yards, they were getting a bit handsy and not getting calls on it.
Yeah, and we won't spend much more time on it, but that would be my other thing. It's every time you want to pay attention to something, if you're noticing it, to me, it's why don't you tweak some of it then? Is it, hey, we're seeing too much, maybe we extended 7 yards, not those first, I don't know, whatever. Like you said, we'll see it happen. I want to make sure we come back to this episode, end of the season, and keep track. How many more over 36 that were called last year do we get? But sticking with football and NFL, people in the chat, have you guys signed up yet for the Knights Fantasy Football League, the KFFL? Oh my gosh, guys, the prize pool is ridiculous. The amount of leagues is ridiculous. The divisions, rumor has it, and it might be a spoiler, it hasn't been confirmed, but I'm going to say it anyways. Each division is going to have different people from Knights of the Roundtable. You might have
we just got canceled.
Gary Ferreira. You might have a Cynthia Freeland in one. You might have right? So now, hey, how great is it to join it and compete against them? But guys, if you haven't yet, on our YouTube channel, you can literally see the video on how to register, convert your stuff over from ETH to USDC. Get in there, fill them up. We're also going to be launching the DGen Huddle, which I'm super excited about. I'm going to play it. I got to. Check this out. We got it, right? Yeah. Got it.
Shining and boy, we winning. We about to make a killing. I don't care what you feeling. I know you wanna steal it. Want it, then come and get it. You want it, then come and get it. You want it, then come and get it. Hold up, wait a minute.
September 13th is the official launch of the DGen Huddle. We're going to have a pre-opener the week before, some recaps of how the drafts are going in the KFFL League. But September 13th, myself and Tiki Barber to open up the first episode of the Degen Huddle right here on Twitch, YouTube, Night to Degen, me and Tiki holding it down, a little Jose Ruckus, a little Coach Richie, a little bit of everybody helping out, making magic happen on a Tuesday night. Super excited for the Degen Huddle. Get in there. If you need more info, guys, head over to our Discord, head over to Twitter. Everything for the KFFL League is there. Go get it. Sticking with football, we got some packs that we decided to grab, did we not?
We did.
So for those of you that like fantasy football and NFTs and everything that's going on in the industry,
I like it's me.
Yeah, you're at the right place. Thanks for being here. So let's talk about MetaVarsity. Guys, it's a Web3 powered fantasy sports platform with the goal of empowering 75 million global fantasy players to be their own GM by transacting and managing fantasy athletes. They're building the next generation of digital assets. So what I love is, as fans own the durable asset, they use it for utility. Fans will be able to compete in fantasy competitions for crypto and cash prizes. It's great. They've released all the alpha for fantasy football, which features shootout format and 50-50 prize pools. The earlier testers of March Madness challenge that they ran, they loved the experience and pounded for the table for more. And that's how we got into the fantasy football.
Oh, man.
What I love about it is they're building a user experience that even my dad could understand and enjoy. All right. Like, it's simplified. It's fun. It's sexy. The three of us decided to grab a pack. We went with the mega pack, right? Not trying to show off like we're ballers and everything, but you guys down, open up some of these packs right now.
Thank you.
Crack
oh
some
my
packs,
God.
baby.
All right. I'm going to open mine up. Who wants to do this first?
I
I got
Jose.
mine pulled up right now.
Yeah, his hair's looking good today.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man.
Share
I'm just
screen.
jelly.
I'm gonna go full screen with it.
Okay, bring it up.
Oh,
Bring it.
walk us through. All right, so there it is right
what is
there. The
this?
football mega pack.
Look at him. That'll take me on the street.
Oh, what's he
Okay.
getting?
Oh, is this gonna be good?
Okay, James Washington,
Not too shabby.
Justin Watson,
Oh, okay. Throwing you some curveballs here. Really have to dig deep.
Jalen Naylor.
Wow, they're throwing some real deep cuts
These are
here.
oh,
boys.
Noah Fant.
Oh,
Big
Noah
Noah
Fant.
Fant.
Hey, and
All
a
right.
Seattle guy.
He got a
Yeah.
Seattle guy.
Very
They
No
excited
know-
for
quarterback
Noah
to
Fant.
throw it to him. No
They know their
quarterback.
market.
That's okay.
Hey, Drew Lock, lock it in, baby.
That,
James Robinson.
Oh,
okay,
that
I
ain't
like that.
bad.
I like
Okay,
that.
okay.
not bad.
Not bad. That's a great
Benny
pull.
Snell. I like Benny Snell. Romeo. Oh, Romeo Dubs. I'm actually really excited for Romeo Dubs.
Whoa.
Cephas. I like Quintez
I'm not-
Cephas
I'll-
was one of my sleepers last year. I'm a big fan of Quintez Cephas.
Yeah, I'm a
He
fan.
put up
I'm a
some
fan.
solid points last year.
He did. Jeff Wilson Jr. Okay, big Jeff Wilson fan. Montreal Washington.
Who's
Okay,
got
now we're
Russell
getting
throwing
into
the ball?
Cameron Brate.
Cameron
Oh, there
Oh,
we go.
let's
Okay.
go.
All
You know
right.
Tom Brady loves the tight end.
We got
Josh
Whoa,
Jake.
I like
Oh,
that.
that's huge.
I like that.
That's huge.
Someone just
How many
scored
cards you
another
get
running
up in
back.
this mega
We
pack?
got
Bro,
the mega pack. We
The
gotta
mega
count
pack
'em.
is mega.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got.
Oh, Naeem Hines.
A little secondary third down back.
Josh
Whoa,
Allen.
shut
let's
up.
go, baby.
Wow. What
Get outta
a
here.
pull. Wow.
Oh, yeah. White Mike Vick. Saquon.
Are you kidding me?
He gets a healthy Saquon.
Wow. A healthy.
Read a Josh Allen.
Dude.
Oh, Robert
Robert
Woods.
Okay, the mega pack is
Okay.
paying off right now, people.
Well,
Okay,
okay, not so much, but
Sorry, Carson. AJ
oh,
Brown.
AJ Brown in Philly,
Kidding me?
excited for that
Hey,
one.
that
Bro.
might be your handcuff move right there.
P. Ryan. A little P. Ryan
Samaje P.
action.
Ryan. Okay, only 4 left.
We got 4 to go.
Oh,
We got
Ooh,
Burkhead.
That's
Okay.
Burkhead.
Little
Burkhead,
scat back.
okay. Harrison Bryant.
Bryant. Tight end, right? For the
They
Browns,
use a
right?
lot of tight ends in Cleveland.
They do.
Okay.
Palmer. I think Palmer's gonna have a good year. I think he's gonna come in and be a little. This second year in the league, third year in the league. Be all right.
And
Michael Thomas.
Wow. What a pack.
Ooh, gotta be hoping
Bro.
for a bounce back year from Mike Thomas.
What a pack.
Listen, the Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, the AJ Brown pools, the Cameron Brate. That's a solid pool right there. That's solid. That's solid.
Josh Allen
It's a very high ceiling, but kind of a low floor pack right here.
Right.
I'm excited. We got some good stuff.
All right, Richie, where's yours? Share your screen.
Yeah, I'm sharing it. I'm doing it here, my guy. Oh, well, as best I can, right? Because, you know, me,
You have to hit
the oldest boomer. Yeah, share screen. Don't do the
just hit
tips.
share so we can. All right, waiting for Richie. There he
I
goes.
think I'm sharing it.
All right, let's do it. Crack this thing open.
Opening it. All
Hit
right.
that hide
All
right where it says stop sharing. Hit hide next to it. Yeah,
Hide. I hit
all right.
this. See, look at that, guys. You guys are just walking me through.
All
All right, here we go,
back.
boys. Here we go. Noah Brown, a little receiver action in Dallas. We could take that. Here we go. Rashad Penny. There you go.
Let's go, baby. Let's
There we
go.
go.
He's going to have a good year this year.
Yeah, that's what Jose said. He's going to play 4 games this year, so we're excited for it. A little Burkhead action. Okay.
you both got
Sexy
those.
Rexy showing up in all the
Yeah, he's
packs.
throwing it. All right. Keelan Grandson.
Kylan
Tight
Granson.
end.
Not familiar.
Probably got to be a young guy, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Oh,
He
wow.
pulled one more.
Wow.
Wow.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll
You
take
think?
it, boys.
Zamir
Zamir White. Rookie,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Rookie.
See, I like how they've got literally all aspects.
Robert
of it, right?
Tonyan.
Ooh,
got
Big Bob
dudes.
Tonyan.
Ooh.
Dude, I know Aaron likes to throw to him the ball. OJ Howard. I think
Back
he's
to
gonna be
back
good.
solid tight ends. there.
Yeah, I think
Coming
that he's going to
into
have a good year in Buffalo.
Baker.
Oh,
Okay.
Mister, I might
Man,
have the
I mean-
starting job soon. Yeah.
Mr. Sutton.
All right.
Oh my God, this pack is looking fresh, boys.
Malik Turner. Malik Turner's solid.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. A Sterling
Sterling.
Shep, the only good
Okay.
receiver in New York. Well, Giants, that is. Raheem
Ooh,
Mostert.
Raheem. Oh, I expect
He's
big
on-
things out of him in Miami.
Yeah.
So do I.
And Miami's
I
got
really
a plethora of running backs over there.
What do we got?
Jakeem
Jakeem
Grant?
Grant Sr. He's got to be old. He's a senior. Come on now. Daz
Daz
Newsome.
Newsome. I like that name.
Maybe not a Chicago. Maybe be
Never
at
heard of
Arlington Heights. Did you guys hear about that? The
Daz.
Chicago Bears and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up to Chicago. Ooh,
Tyler
Tyler
Boyd.
Boyd.
Tyler Boyd's solid
Oh.
number 2.
Solid number 2. Here we go. Zach Ertz.
Ertz.
Oh,
Ooh.
my goodness. And who's
Tate.
this? Andrew
Auden Tate solid.
Allen
Allen
Robinson. I think he's
Robinson.
having a
Ooh, I
good
expected
year
big
with
things from
Matthew.
Allen Robinson. this
Hey,
year.
there's my guy. There he is. He ain't gonna do much. in the
Jamal
fantasy.
Williams.
Williams.
All right.
Are you kidding me?
Ooh, that's huge.
Bro,
That's
There
huge.
you
this
go.
pack is huge. Ooh, Isaiah Spiller.
Spiller.
I like him. Rookie for Los Angeles. Dax Smite and Rashad White. Running back, rookie.
Solid.
All right. You
Dude,
guys
this
pull some.
pack is
You know
Wow.
JiggaMan's going to get the best pack.
I hope so. I really do.
I will say, so Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, we got 2 extremely good rushing quarterbacks. So let's see if you can top us on the quarterback front. Romeo Dubs.
Richie's back there opening up more packs.
I was going to say, we also got the referral bonus. I'm about to crack that over
Just
here. On
pick
the
that.
side.
Let's open these
Najee
quick and
Harris.
then we'll jump into our next ones. You ready? Here we go. For JiggaMan, I'm going with Namir Bird.
Damian
Bird.
Okay, I like this.
Ooh,
Oh, man, this
Matt
is-
Ryan. He's probably going to have a good season this year.
Do you think Marcus Mariota starts in Atlanta?
Antonio Gibson.
Oh, I like Antonio, man.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
my
Antonio.
guy.
Oh,
Barrios.
I got my
Barrios.
jet. You know how to get a
Barrios,
jet.
I
Let's
like,
go.
I like Barrios.
Shot
I like that we each got a solid guy from our own team.
our own team. Dorsett. What do you got? Traquan Smith.
I like Traquan a lot.
So do I.
Shakir.
He'll have a good year this year.
Ooh, Zay
Or
Jones.
Jackson.
I'll take a
Zay
Zay
Jones
Jones
solid.
card. DeAndre Swift.
Oh,
Good with that. How you
Swifty.
doing?
I'll trade-
I have
I'll-
a feeling
I'll-
Richie and I will be talking business
Hey.
at the end of the night.
Hey. We got to have a conversation here.
Oh, we are definitely going to. We are definitely going to. A couple
my
more of
God.
these let's see. Matt Raider.
Matt Breida.
Oh, Matt Breida.
Breida. I like Matt Breida in New York. I think he would back up because what's his face can't say. Alexander Madison, James Cook, or Calvin Cook can't say
Sammy and Green
Oh,
Bay.
Sammy Watkins is always pretty solid in fantasy.
No matter where he's at.
Yeah.
And you have Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Khalil Herbert.
Herbert. Oh, Gerald Everett. I like Gerald
Ooh,
Everett.
I like him for the tight end.
Ooh, I got,
Mike
hey, Kung Fu
Gesicki.
D. I got Gesicki, bro. I even pick him up in Madden.
Bro, sexy Gesicki. Let's
Ooh,
go.
Ronald Jones.
Chase Claypool.
Claypool.
Solid.
Okay. Ooh, a Trey
Ooh,
Lance.
Trey Lance
Starting
action?
Trey Lance.
Trey Area.
Rashad
Rashad
Bateman,
Bateman.
a second sophomore receiver for Baltimore. Ooh.
All right. We did solid. I think we're going to
So
definitely be
it looks like-
talking some trades here when we get out of
Looks like
here.
you need
All
a
right?
quarterback. It looks like you need a quarterback. So
I think I do, and I think you have one. We're going to talk.
We'll have a conversation.
I
mean,
we got this. We got yeah. All right.
all
Fuck it.
right.
We're good. We're good. All right. So let's jump into a little bit of
Real
sports
quick.
history.
Oh,
Yo, I just cracked Jonathan Taylor in my bonus pack.
shut the front up.
On that note, sports history. Well, Richie Price.
History.
once it's over, we should have a thing like Reading Rainbow. The more you know. Like I always feel so much smarter afterwards. Guys in the chat, I put the link there. If you like the pack rips, go ahead. There's a link for Meta Varsity Sports. And of course, sign up for the Knights Fantasy Football League, the KFFL. The link is there. Register today. It's about to be crazy. Guys, I think it's that time where we should jump into the little conversation debate we want to have. In chat, we want you to interact here as well. So
always
3 receivers all time that you put on your list of who's going to make your squad, right? I want to start with Coach Richie. What do you think? We start with you, bro?
Always, baby. Well, not always, but I'll take this one.
All right, Jose, you go. No, I'm just kidding. All right, Richie, let's start with yours, bro. Who was number 3?
T.O.
Ooh, look at we gave him
Andy threw him in the Knights.
Yeah,
I threw him in
legendary
the
Knights
Knights and gave
receiver.
him Knights. There we go. Okay.
You know, he known for his antics on and off the field. I mean, the guy is just wherever he went, he scored touchdowns, big body, fast. Philadelphia. I just remember all of his, fun times in Philadelphia.
First
So,
NFL
I mean,
jersey I ever owned, Terrell Owens.
Really?
49ers.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
And then on to
All
number
right.
2,
Ooh, what did you have at number 2, bro?
Larry Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald. That's a scary one too right there. How you doing?
It is.
He has like 15 drops in his entire career. I mean, the guy never dropped a freaking football. I mean, went back to college, got his degree, and then my boy, you got number 1, my boy Megatron, Calvin sitting in the corner over there. We don't have any film of it, but there's a film. Go Google it, goggle it. They were playing Philadelphia. They were in the red zone, and they put 2 defenders over the top of him like he was a gunner going down to stop for a punt. I mean, the guy's highlights are freaking ridiculous. Telling Matthew to throw it up over Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they got a rule about it.
You got the Sir Pizza approval, bro.
I mean,
that's
Sir
a good
Pizza and I
trio.
go back.
How about
I'll
Dohan?
take it.
He gave us his 3. Isaac Bruce, Jerry
Okay.
Rice, and Randy Moss. Solid trio.
Solid
That's a
trio.
All right,
solid trio,
all right.
too.
All right. Hey, Richie. Solid.
Hey.
Solid.
Hey.
Jose, let's jump in with you.
Picking up where Richie left off, number 3 for me, Calvin Johnson. I mean, when we're talking about pure physical as a receiver, Calvin Johnson is as good as it gets. The height, the speed, the just physical ability on this guy. He's one of the most pure athletes who's ever entered the NFL. The guy was absolutely insane. One of the hardest guys to stop. I mean, although they didn't win a game one time.
That's hurtful.
I'm here to have a good time, guys.
Number 2 though, Jerry Rice. I mean, the guy played until he was like 80, same as his jersey.
Is he still playing? He's still playing, right?
He's playing somewhere.
Some backyard football league whooping everybody.
I mean,
Jerry
one of the
Rice.
best pure route runners. Some of the best hands playing. I mean, just absolute dominant receiver wherever he went. Of course, Seattle legend, one of the only 2 people to rock the number 80 jersey, him and Steve Largent. So, but number 1, Randy Moss. If you need a play to be made, Randy Moss is your guy. Maxed out in every single category. His speed, his route running a bit, his play IQ. You watch this guy run a hook and ladder. It's like it's second nature to the guy. He's absolutely insane. One of the most unstoppable threats in the history of the NFL. One of my favorite players ever to watch. Randy Moss is just nuts, dude.
Dude, they said he knew one route. One route. The fly route. See you later, dudes.
You only needed one route.
Only needed one.
Look, you got Kung Fu D jumping in, taking ones from your list as well. Calvin, Moss, and
Pick
Rice.
and pluck.
Jason Wright, Michael Irvin, Randy
Irvin's a
Moss,
good
Jerry
one.
Rice.
Good one.
Solid. All right. So I took a different approach. All right. I took 3 guys
Yes, you
that
did.
I really like a lot, right, to make my team. And I was like, you know what?
They
I had
all
a feeling we
Jets.
would have a lot of overlap, right? I
Mhm.
figured we would. I mean, because who doesn't have Calvin, Jerry. Like you know those are the guys, right? They're the greatest of all time for a reason. So, but I also threw some studs out here for you guys, all right? Number 3, I had to go with my boy Brandon Marshall, all right? Like people forget the man's name. Brandon Marshall was legit. Brandon Marshall.
Forgot he wore a Jets jersey for a while.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
he also
you didn't put him in the
set
Bears.
record.
You didn't put him in
Denver. No, because you got to remember, him and Eric Decker broke the record for the most touchdown tandem that season. And
Eric Decker, wow.
Yeah. So I had to go with Marshall, and I also have that jersey. How you doing? So yes,
the guy who
Brandon
made Jay
Marshall.
Cutler. That's a statement in and of itself, right?
There
smoking
you
Jay
go.
Cutler.
He was me. And then I had to throw AJ Green on there. I've always been big on AJ Green. AJ Green to me is a receiver that you throw that ball his way. Yeah, it's been a little lax in the last couple of years, right? But AJ Green, prime AJ Green, I think you put him and Brandon Marshall.
This is one of the guys in like the fantasy Hall of Fame where he was like, if you picked him for certain years as your number 1 wide receiver, you just fucking won
real.
like 15
That's
games.
That's it. You took your auction money and you were like, all of it, AJ Green. Everybody else was $1.
I think I've ever
and then
heard
I had
Jose
to go with
curse.
Michael Irvin, man. You should tune into his streams more
And
often.
I dropped the biggest F-bomb. No, I love it. Sorry.
Number 1, Michael Irvin. I had to throw my man on the list. I think Irvin, Green, Marshall on a squad. Not too
With
bad.
Mark
Guys,
Sanchez throwing.
Michael Irvin's one of those dudes where he's been like up in the booth for so long, just like on
forgot
like
he played.
before the end. I forget that he was like a dominant receiver.
Oh, look, Sir Pizza throwing in Wes Welker. I don't think we really went with a slot.
I
right?
thought about throwing a slot in there because we were talking about doing it as a super team or whatever, but I figure,
Correct.
Randy Moss, he can work the slot sometimes, or Jerry Rice, one of the best route runners ever, he can work the slot. But just thinking, like, if you need a play for your life, Jermaine Kearse is going to make that goddamn play. One of the best slot receivers to ever do it.
2 of them.
So here's my thoughts. Now, we had talked about doing this maybe a year ago before we were doing all the Night to DJ stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where all these weeks that we've been picking, hey, here's who we have for an offense. I think we're going to go back. I think we need to make a sim league of the guys that we've picked for our wide receivers. Let's put our tight ends next week. Let's build these squads, and then we'll have one where we put them up against each other and see. So next week. Oh no, raising hand. Yes, Coach Richie.
So I was bored and I did the NBA sim thing.
Really?
And
What were your results?
Jose whooped our ass.
What did I tell you?
Dude, I got smoked. I literally Isaiah Thomas just come down, dribbled the top, just mess around. It was terrible. Jose just beat I don't want to say anything because I was like ashamed, and I redid it a few times. I was like ashamed. I was like, yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Okay.
I mentioned Jermaine Kearse, and it just occurred to me. He needs to be like maybe the official player of what because Jermaine Kearse only played for 3 NFL teams, and you know what they were? He played for the Seattle Seahawks, he played for the New York Jets, and he played for the Detroit Lions.
All right. Great.
There he is, our mascot.
So next week, let's
we'll
do
have Jermaine Kearse on.
Yeah,
let's do quarterbacks.
Get a hold of
next
Jane.
week.
Does anybody know Jermaine Kearse's number? Get him on the show.
I know a guy. Quarterbacks next week. Ooh,
Let's do quarterbacks. Top 3 quarterbacks. All right.
Okay.
And then I think we'll keep adding the pieces. We've done some side of the defenses already. Let's do that. And then I think we should make it to where we can have Twitch polls, a little maybe gambling action on who thinks the head-to-head matches will work out. So I think by week 2 or 3 of the NFL season, we'll be ready to go with a full squad. Deal?
Sounds good.
All right.
I love it. I love it.
I already got my butt spanked by Jose's basketball team, so I don't want to see what happens.
Well, we're gonna have to figure it out. We gotta flip coins and stuff, right? You both have receivers. We gotta figure out who gets whose receiver and all that.
You can ask my wife, and we watched a lot of simulation basketball because I've been jonesing for sports. Oh, I played a lot of I've simulated a lot of our situations. I played me and Jose like 3 times. I lost all 3.
Dude, just Steph and Giannis together. Just drive to the hoop, kick it out, shoot the 3, whatever you want.
It was bad. Giannis was unstoppable. It didn't matter. Dirk was just getting demolished. I don't even know if Dirk was on the floor playing basketball.
You got Dirk guarding Giannis. What do you expect,
dude,
bro?
He was playing pickleball. Dirk was pickleballing it up, and Giannis was like, wrong sport, bro. But in an accent that I can't mimic.
Well, guys, we with the new format, everybody in the chat. So now, right at 10 o'clock, right here on our new segment, Zook will be coming on right now for Pickle Juice, and we're gonna jump into Pickle Juice. But once the interview is done, don't leave. We still got a lot of to cover and news and things we want to address, like NFL power rankings from FanDuel. I'm sure you have a lot to say about that, huh, Jose?
I do.
And we got a lot of stuff. Wag me. We got a lot of things going on. Coach Richie,
that's what you said.
This is that limit, right? Go take care of those kids, bro. Enjoy.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Love you, bro.
Go watch Hard Knocks, HBO, Go Lions.
Let your wife know I'm going to be calling you late so we can talk about this card trade. I know we got to talk some business.
It's already done deal. I already told her.
We're good. Later, bro.
Love you guys.
Love you.
All right, Jose. So new format, bro. We're going to take a step back. We're going to have Zook come on here for the very first episode of Pickle Juice. And we got from what I hear, she's a stud. I had to go back. I had to watch a lot of film. I mean, there's been people on Twitter going back and forth. Some calling her a monster. Some calling her a beast. I guess we're going to figure all that out. But those in the chat, get ready. Let's jump into a little bit of Pickle Juice with your host, Zook, and his interview with Alice Jones.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first of what I hope is many episodes of our new show over here on the Nights of DGen, known as Pickle Juice. I'm your boy Zook, and I'm so excited to be joined on our very first episode with, like JiggaMan said, some are calling a beast, some are calling the queen of pickleball. Our first guest, Elise Jones. How are you doing, Elise?
So good. How are you, Zook?
Good. That's on me. When I was talking to Jigga the very first time I told him I was doing it with you, I called you Alice. So I just want to say, hand up, that's on me.
No
I
problem.
apologize. Going forward, we now know Elise Jones, queen of pickleball, queen of the PPA Tour.
My apologies. Nice to meet you. Hey, Zook, we'll address this later.
No, he's going to kill me, but how are you doing tonight?
So good, thanks.
I'm very excited. You're someone that I keyed in. As I was talking behind the scenes, I fell in love with professional pickleball and the PPA Tour specifically, and I've been following for the past few weeks and months. And when I came up with this idea, I was looking into the stories and the bios of different people, and yours is one that I think after listening to the story alone kind of resonates as to why this sport is kind of exploding. So tell us a little bit about how somebody like yourself becomes a professional pickleball player, and take us from the beginning.
Okay, so I was a teacher and coach at Pleasant Grove High School in Utah, literally right by my house in the high school I went to, volleyball coach. And I did that for 10 years. And then in 2019, it just got a little bit too hard with my family because my kids had after school stuff and I was at practice. So decided to step down, but ended on a state championship. So that was good. Anyways, yeah. So then so that's 2019, end of 2019, then 2020, right? COVID hit. And I was an owner of a club volleyball business and had 250 athletes. And it was really hard. When obviously we lost a lot of money, like all the businesses and stuff like that. And I was also teaching. So then I was doing, I was teaching my kids at home because I have 3 kids.
Wow.
And then I was teaching my students online. And then you couldn't work out, you couldn't do all these things. And I've been active my whole life. And I was just like getting to the state, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is awful. Anyways. And so me and my husband decided that we would, since we had high school keys, we'd take our kids to the gym, let them ride their bikes around the gym.
Break it into school.
Yeah. School because it's COVID, you know? So, yeah. And my parents and who live like literally next door to us, they said, hey, you got to try this sport, pickleball. Anyways, so we pretty much in the high school gym, we just pulled the net out and started playing it. We were all tennis players in my family. And so it was like easy to pick up and stuff like that. But then started playing with some of the admin at the school. Anyways, and it turned into, we were doing this all during COVID and we were supposed to be in our houses. Anyways, but I got addicted to it and started playing during the summer and just kind of entered some local like fun tournaments with my mom, you know, and won some of those tournaments, you know, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna keep playing this. This is fun. Anyways, got a little bit, so that's the summer, you know, had some fun with it, but not like, you know, where it was. And then the fall, this lady watched me play and she's like, hey, you should come play with me at my church. And then another guy said, you should come to the rec center. We do pickleball at 5 a.m. And so I was like, sweet. So I started going to PG Rec Center and we did King of the Court.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, best way to play, right? And
that's like an old school style way to play pickleball.
So fun though. And just got close with a bunch of guys. One of them really got close with my friend Tyler Wilkinson. He was like, you really, you know, you got to keep playing. Anyways, so I was doing this 5 a.m. and then I'd go and play with this lady at her church at like different times.
Can I ask, what was the different competitivenesses when you go from a school gym to a church gym to a public setting? When you travel around to these different venues, was there any specific type of pickleball that was happening at any of them? Or is there just a general style that was happening amongst them all?
It was like probably like a 4-0 scene, okay. I would say. But we only played King's Court style. So like you kept just like, if you're winning, you moved up, you know, so you were with your level all the time. So yeah. Anyways, and then the fall hit and that lady that said about that and he's saying that the lady that said wanted me to come to her church and stuff all the time and play with her. She's like, hey, do you want to do a fall league with me? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. Anyways, it was just like a ladder league.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it all works with ladders, but we ended up winning the league. And so she was like, hey, you should, you know, take this a little bit more serious. You're pretty good. And I started playing with more guys and stuff. And I noticed that I was on a different level than some of the women I was playing with. And so my husband surprised me with like the best birthday gift ever. And that was a lesson with Callie Jo Smith.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, Callie's awesome. Anyways, and I came home from the lesson and I was like, honey, I think I can like keep up, because we kind of just like drilled us during our lesson. And I was like, honey, I think I can, you know, hang with these guys if I start working on it. He's like, that's exactly why I got you that lesson. It wasn't a lesson. It was like, let's see if you can, you know, anyways. So that was like the best gift ever. And so then in January 2021, Club Pickleball USA opened up in Orem, which is right by my house. And I trained at 5 a.m. every day while I was still teaching high school. I would just go at 5 a.m. train, then go teach high school, do my kids after school. And then at night I'd go train again. I just got addicted and was doing it, you know, so many hours a day. And I started playing pro. I met Megan Dizon in April of 2021, and we went and played a 5-0 tournament in California because we were winning the 5-0 tournaments in Utah. So I was like, well, I got to try something else, you know?
And this is on me. I'm seeing some of the comments, and we have new people like watching this that have no idea even. They're like, what is pickleball? So even just to take a step back, because you're even getting into some like I'm just sitting here and nodding when you say 4-0 and 5-0, and like, yeah, I kind of know, but I'm even gonna ask like, what are those? But I just want to even share my screen right now because I see someone commented. I gotta be honest, I don't even know what pickleball is. And that's honestly, that's why we're doing this. Like once you watch this, I guarantee you'll go out there and try it and you'll become obsessed with it. This is the basics. A fun sport that combines many elements of tennis, badminton, and ping pong, played indoors, outdoors on a badminton-sized court and slightly modified tennis net, played with a paddle and plastic ball with holes, kind of looking like a wiffle ball, played as doubles or singles. That's an interesting thing I want to ask you real quick after this, and can be enjoyed by all ages and skill levels. So like Jose Ruckus said, it's like small tennis or really big ping pong. That is a great way to put it. But yeah, it's a big ping pong rattle, I would say, using a cool wiffle ball, and it's a lot more advanced like that. But if you're learning and you're new, that's basically it. Jason Wright saying lots of twists in the story. So awesome that you jumped up the leader pickleball ladder so organically. Yeah, her story is incredible. One thing to ask you real quick is something on the opposite of tennis is doubles kind of the standard for pickleball? Like I feel like the default in tennis is singles, and that's how you kind of track everything. But pickleball, the default almost is on the double side.
Yeah, and I think that's because double so many different points, whereas singles is very similar points. And so I think that's probably why it's more entertaining to watch doubles. And it's, to be honest, for me, it's more entertaining to play too.
And a common theme of this whole thing is it's an everyman sport that everybody can play. I think more people are playing doubles because more people have the ability to play doubles because less movement is needed. Thus, if you're playing doubles, you're more likely to want to watch it. I cut you off from your story. I apologize. You were basically going through the genesis of, the one time where you took something pretty bad that was going on, and it was during COVID, and you were looking for something to do, and you found this hobby that you're addicted to. That, to be quite honest, if my parents were like, "Hey, we found this sport, you should play it," I kind of be like, the sports you guys play and the sports that I play, like, come on, I can do some stuff a little bit more difficult than you. So I commend you that you were willing to take on a sport that they told you. But since then, there's been months and months have passed, and you're now on this, as Jason said, this great rise, top 20 on the PPA tour. You have so much going on in your life. You're a mom, you're a teacher, you said you were a coach, part-time, you have a husband as well. What makes it about this sport that gives you the belief to buy in and go all in to say, hey, this is something that it's worth my time to become a professional in because it's going somewhere?
Yeah, for sure. We've realized that when we signed the contract with the PPA, because they started doing appearance fees, and then obviously the money has gotten better every single time. It's not where tennis is right now, but I mean, I actually quit my job teaching because I'm getting paid more with pickleball. And obviously,
congratulations.
Thank you. Teaching doesn't pay a lot more, but it's definitely, I'm definitely getting way more than I was with my career, and it's definitely more fun. So I would say, like, to answer your question, like, the money isn't there yet, but it's gonna be there too, eventually. Yeah.
I'm showing off your page right now on the PPA tour bio. Without getting too, obviously, don't get into the economics and the financials at all, because that's personal. Just on like the business side of things, like a moment for you, like how cool is that? Again, going from being a teacher and a high school volleyball coach, picking up a hobby during COVID, to signing a professional deal with a professional tour that we can get more into this later on when we go through the Selkirk and the PPA in general, but you can say whatever you want, how big, how small, how many people are watching it. You look who's buying into the PPA tour.
Yeah.
That's legit people. Like, how surreal of a moment is that for you, for them to reach out and be like, hey, we want to sign you to make you a professional athlete?
It was, for me, it was like, I don't know. I had worked my butt off though. Like I have, I'm big into Kobe stuff. Like I was one of those coaches that read like all of Coach K's stuff and stuff like that. So I was really in that mindset to, hey, if you work hard, you can get what you want kind of thing. And I saw that this like vision of like, I just keep getting better and better. And so when that offer came, I was like, this is awesome. Okay. And now I'm going to be with the big dogs all the time, because that's kind of the difference with the PPA. And that's where I wanted to be able to get better. You got to be playing against the best all the time. And so, yeah, my Mamba mentality just kind of took over. And I do look like, I actually said that to my husband today. We were in the pool with our kids, and I was like, honey, isn't this crazy that I'm just a professional athlete? And he looked at me, he's like, it's awesome, isn't it? I was like, he's like, this is our life now. It's so fun. And it is. It's just like we're out here in California for 12 days doing back-to-back tournaments. Competing's a blast. Our kids are having fun. And I don't know, it's just, I think you only live once, so you go for your dreams.
I love that. And if you could, you touched on it a little bit, and you did expand on it a little bit, but I did just want to follow up because I had it written down to ask you,
yeah.
What is this like, experiencing it, with your family, with your husband, with your kids? Quite often when we think about, professional athletes, we think of it more as single people coming out of college, stuff like that, that they're experiencing the lavishes and the riches and everything that you deserve as a professional athlete during that stage in that life. You have this really unique perspective of being able to, cherish all of this with those really close to you. What is it like, traveling around to all these different places in the country and having these young kids and being able to let them experience things that without this sport, they probably wouldn't have gotten to experience?
Yeah. Honestly, it's really good for my kids to see me competing and seeing mommy work hard. Like my little girl asked me, she's like, Mom, when can I start training at 6 a.m. with you? Things like that. And she's 9. She's actually pretty good. So yeah, she'll get better too. So it's good for my kids to see that like you have to work to get what you want, right? Sometimes it is a little stressful when I'm getting my kids ready for the tournament to go, and we've got to bring them. But that's why I have my husband helps out so much, and my parents like to come watch me play, and so they're usually there too. But it's just so good for your kids to see you go for your goals,
Do your parents take any credit for you being a professional athlete? Do they ever like to remind you that they were the ones that got introduced you to the sport? Because I know, my parents are very good at giving me credit, but I know now and again, if I was in your possession, my dad would be like, hey, remember that time I told you to get into pickleball? Remember that? Remember that?
Yeah, my mom said that multiple times. Remember when you need to go play pickleball at the gym? And my dad was one of those that I actually posted about this. The reason why I have such a Mamba mentality is because he used to, at 9 years old, he was waking me up at 5 to go play basketball. Or I was also a softball player. And so we'd go hit on the pitching machine in a gym and things like that. So like at a young age, he like trained me to be wired the way I am. And I loved it. So like to this day, I like look at my training and I'm like, okay, I'm the way I am because of my dad. And my mom obviously worked hard too with us, but my dad's the one who always got me up and took him with him everywhere.
No, that's phenomenal. That's a phenomenal story. And Kung Fu saying very rare to get into what you love for a living. You touched on it a little bit with the Cali Joe lesson as the moment, and maybe that is the one answer. But what was that crossover like? How deep were you into it? Like, that you were just allowing it to be a hobby, that you were having fun with it before you were like, hey, I got to turn this on. I got to take it serious. I think if I put in the investment to work all day, every day, I can be a professional at the top level. Like, how long was it allowed to just be a hobby for you before you realized what your potential was?
Yeah. So one thing that's unique about pickleball is you can sign up if you get to a certain rating for pro. So like it starts at 2.0 and it goes all the way up to 5.0 is amateur level. And then after that is the pro level. So if you
Let me just ask you, how good do you have to be a 2.0? Just so people get like
2.0,
yeah.
you got to be able to at least just hit the ball back.
Okay. So just like if you can play like a competitive game with a friend, you would be rated on the scale?
Yeah, just to be the ball back. Like that 2.0s are usually kids who start or older people that start. Most people start around, like if you're in like a middle-aged college student, you're probably going to be like a 2.5 when you first start, because you can easily get the technique in the younger age. But so once I kind of hit kind of consistently 5.0, when you can sign up for pro. And so once we're winning those tournaments, we're like, okay, and you move on to the next level. And that's kind of what I did when I was like 4.5 level. So there's like, it's 0.5 each level. And then I went to 5.0 and then I won 5.0. So it was like, okay, you go to pro. Well, pro definitely is a different level because it can go all the way up to like, I think Ben Johns is a 6. Oh, no, sorry. He might be a 7.1 now.
Wow.
Like very high level. Anyways.
That's like Magnus Carlsen, the chess guy that just kept getting to like levels that like everyone was like, the rating system is like 0 to 31.5. And everyone's like, why 31.5? And it's like, oh, because Magnus Carlsen just keeps getting higher and higher. And that's kind of what Ben's doing with that rating as well.
That's exactly what Ben's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I signed up for pro in April of 2020. Excuse me, 2021, year later after the 5.0. And we went 0-2. Like we got our butts kicked. We played well and competed, but we're like, But then we worked really hard during those spring months, and it was June of 2021 that I got my first check. We took 4th at an APP.
Oh.
That was kind of the point where I was like, dude, we get money for this? I want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
It's fun. So, and I want more money.
Isn't it interesting? Like, and I get what you're saying, and I also get what you're saying. Like, it's not about the money and the amount of money. It's just the fact that like you can produce getting a check from that. Like, even if it was $1, like I get what you're saying. Like, it's just like, wow, I'm playing this and they're paying me to play it. So like for you to say that, like I totally get that to be a click moment, and how it actually does have nothing to do with like the amount of money or like what you were actually getting. Just like someone was handing you a check, it's like, eureka, I got to keep going, down this line. And down that line eventually led you to where you are today, earlier this year signing with the PPA Tour to stick around this tour. So I'll let you obviously know better than me. The PPA Tour it's a professional tour of pickleball, similarly to any kind of other professional league, more so like tennis and golf, where it's a circuit that on weekends it's kind of running around and bouncing around to different tour settings. Oh, she's back. Perfect. I lost you for a second. You're back. Is there anything else specifically about the PPA Tour that if we're introducing it to people that there is to say about it on a general level, other than kind of, if you know what pickleball is, relate it to the ATP in tennis, and it's kind of similar to that?
Yeah, so there's about 20 plus tournaments per year on the tour all around the nation. So you can go online and see the schedule. So like if you live in Las Vegas, like come to the PPA Championships in October, and you will see the top pros in the world have signed with the PPA. Yeah. And so you'll be able to come and watch them, and you'll get to watch singles the first day, mixed doubles the second, and then gender doubles. And then if you move on to Championship Sunday in those events.
And what you just said is some of the secret sauce, and it's a good segue into the Selkirk in general of what I saw this weekend and what makes pickleball so interesting. You're not watching the same thing. You're going from male singles to mixed doubles to women's doubles to men's doubles, and specifically this weekend with the Selkirk with rotating partners, it was legitimately like I was just sitting on the couch and like every member of two that walked on, it was like two new people were walking on, and there was a new story that they were talking about how these people have never played together and how they thought they were going to mesh, and then you got to watch it unfold. And it was actually pretty interesting for me, someone who's, you know, recently getting into it and now learning more and more about the players. Now that I learned about them, forming my own theses as what was going to happen with the partnerships and seeing what unfold. What was yours and kind of the other players on tour opinion of the Selkirk showcase and how it was ran and how it unfolded?
Well, most of the pros partner up with the same pro for the entire year, like your mixed partner and your genders partner. And so it was kind of like a refresher to like just have to play with someone new. And
we won't let Megan hear that.
No, like that.
Don't let Megan hear that.
No, Megs, that's not what I meant. Megs knows I love her. Anyways, but like I'm saying, like refresher for like the viewers, because they're seeing the same teams play against each other over and over again. So we obviously, like as pros too, we're watching the same matches too when we're there. So it's kind of nice to like, hey, let's see how this person can play with this pro that maybe is a lower level than them, you know, and how are they going to make them better, or are they not going to be able to excel as much, you know? So it was interesting to see like how people's plays would play into each other pretty much while they were playing. So all the pros, we all loved it. We thought it was awesome. So
you can answer me yes or no, and you can lie if you want to.
Okay.
Have you and Megan have had strategy meetings since you've now gotten the chance to play with these other people? And like, I asked that jokingly, but I also ask it seriously. Like, did you guys take the time to, this is competitive where you're now going to go play these people that you were partners with. Do you feel like you have any better understanding of these players' games? And, you know, after learning how to play with them, now using that against them almost?
Oh, for sure. We already talked about it.
There you go.
It definitely helped me. I'm like, oh, their spot. That's their spot. I'm going to hit when I'm against them because, yeah, that's hurting us right now.
That's so fun. I love that, though, because, you know, you got to be sure that every single other pair is doing that same thing. And they're talking about you and Megan just like you and Megan are talking about them. So I absolutely love that. And you can go through the winners. It was Annalie and Callie. It was Ben Johns and JD, and it was Jess Irvin and Ben Johns. When you just look at those three teams, is there any surprise that those were the winning teams out of those funnels?
You know, after playing with Ben, I am not surprised by that at all. Like playing against him I'm like, wow, he's a really good player. But when you play with him, so I got to play in a round robin at the beginning with him.
Yeah, let me find
and the way, so we played against.
There you go, right here. You played against Callan and Lucy.
Yes. The way he moves on the court and can read what the opponents are doing was phenomenal. I was just like so impressed. I was like, okay, this guy has been around the game long enough and he has studied the game. Anyways, so I was not surprised. I'm not surprised ever now after playing with him that Ben wins. The reason why he wins is because he knows what your opponent's doing, and he knows like every shot before he hits it, what it's going to do. Like I was very impressed with him. So definitely not surprised with his W's at all. And Annalie and Callie are both aggressive players, and the game is changing at the pro level. I've noticed that, and that's why I've changed my game in the last 2 months, is the more aggressive players who are getting into hands battles and not just like, oh, it's a higher dink, and a dink is just a short part of the game. Some of you who don't know what a dink is.
It's just when you come in, like, so there's a part of the court that you can't step in called the kitchen. And let me I can just show let's see, pickleball court, images.
There you go.
So if you kind of look at this and you're new to pickleball, there's this section right here called the kitchen. It's the non-volley zone. It's known as the kitchen. And anything I say, at least, please correct me if I'm wrong. And you can't hit the ball on the fly while standing in this area. So kind of a doink is a strategy play where you hit the ball over very slightly over the net, so it lands in the volleys in the non-volley zone, so the person has to wait for it to bounce and then has to doink it back to you. And basically all that's doing is so the person doesn't have a chance to spike it at you, and it's setting them up where they have to doink it and they could potentially make the mistake. And basically a lot of doubles, and now we're getting, if we're getting a little bit into strategy, a lot of doubles at a general level is hitting it back with doinks until your opponent makes a mistake, and then you take advantage of the mistake and kind of smash it down.
Dinks, though, not doinks.
Okay, there you go. That's perfect. Tell me the difference, because I don't know the difference.
Dink? I don't know what a doink is, dude.
Oh, so there's no such thing as a doink?
No.
There's just dinks.
No.
So a doink could be a dink.
Get it.
Okay, so release doink, but a dink is just slightly hitting it over, and then you're hitting dinks, and then if you hit a high dink and someone smashes it, is there a term for that other than a smash?
It's usually just like a put away.
Okay, so there's dinks until a mistake dink, and that leads into a put away. And then that's when you see the hand fighting. When someone eventually makes kind of the first loose dink and someone can smash it, that's when, as a lot of you guys that have seen pickleball see the highlights, and it's that back and forth quick at the net. That's kind of when that starts.
Yeah, those are called hands battles. So someone speeds it up, and then you got hands battles.
Or do you like hands battles?
Love hands battles.
Do you love hands do you find yourself starting more hands battles than you're on the receiving end on, and take that like a step further, kind of, define the style of play that you personally would describe yourself as? So,
I mean, me and Megan have had a few bronze medals, and for mix, I've been in bronze medal matches, but not received a bronze medal yet. And before then, like the first half of the season, I would say I was more of a counter player, and that means when people speed up at me, the fastballs, I'm ready to go hard back at them. But I started studying film more of the girls that were winning, and they are initiating the hands battles, the speed ups first. Okay. And so the last 2.5 months, I actually changed my game because I sprained my ankle, so I wasn't able to go to the San Clemente tournament in June, at the early June, and then we had a 2-month break, and all I worked on was certain speed ups, hitting people in better spots, because it's harder to counter if someone's hitting the ball at you. If you hit a certain spot, it's harder to counter hard back.
Yeah, makes sense.
I've been working on that a lot, and so I'm more of an initiator now.
I love hearing you. I genuinely love hearing you, the way that you're speaking about the game, because as someone who believes in it like you, and you're obviously one of the top athletes in this game. Like you're literally watching film, learning from the best, like altering the style that I'm playing, like breaking down what I'm doing and changing things, taking advanced analytics. You looked at stats and ran the numbers, and people that are more that's analytics. Like what you just said, that is like the definition of analytics. Like that's the stuff that people are like, when does something become serious? It's always like when stuff gets built on top of that, and the stuff that you're talking about is all being built on top of that foundation of pickleball, that the analytics, the training, the watching film. The best professionals are doing what you would need to do to be the best professional in any other sport. And hearing that is super exciting, and I love hearing that. So you talked about Ben, you talked about Annalie, you talked about Callie. To be quite honest, I'll always put my hands up. I've just gotten to the PPA tour this year. Miss Irvine is someone who wasn't on my radar too much, before the Selkirk. Were you guys, the players, at all surprised with kind of how well she played at this tournament, and what's kind of the buzz around her after, she won this one with Ben?
Jessie's solid. Like, she's just consistent.
Okay.
And so she's one that I'd noticed when I play with her, she takes a bit more time to get into the kitchen, like with her third shot drops in mid-court. She just takes her time. She really is concerned about being consistent and then waiting for the right ball to speed up. She'll dink a little bit more than most. So that's probably why when we went into pool play, she beat me in points by, I think, 4 points. I took second. I was so close to playing with Ben. Anyways, but me and Federico did great too. But her game is just consistent. So, and then obviously if she gets a ball that's like one that she can smash, she can put a lot of pace on it.
Yeah, we noticed that a lot this weekend. It was great. A lot of things that you're saying when you talk about these players are the very same things where I was hanging out like in the YouTube chats during the streams of these games. And it's just like, again, talking about like people building on top of it. We got the professionals like you talking like the analytics, the film, and now we have fans literally doing the deep dive and the analysis of like talking about Jess the way that you did, talking about Ben the way that you did, talking about, you, Federico, the way, that anyone could talk about anyone. So all these things that are being kind of built on top of this sport during this crazy growth that it's going for is making, your YOLO like mentality of wanting to take over this game, become a professional, go all out, almost seem like a crazy good like calculated risk. And I mean that when I say that is like, I think pickleball is going to get there. And like, it's just almost like time just has to catch up. All the infrastructure is being set up. The love and the play for the love of the sport is growing. And just to even echo that statement, I got two guys behind the scenes that are the main hosts of this show abroad, Jose and Jigga. And they're asking behind the scenes, hey, we got a lot of questions. We want to come up. We want to ask some questions. So I will invite them two up, Jose and Jigga. Hello, my friends. Meet my friend Elise.
Oh, yeah. Now you get
Elise.
the name right.
Hi.
Thanks. Hey, Elise, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. All right. So I come with the hard-hitting questions, okay?
Okay.
Question 1. A guy like me with severe chicken legs and chicken arms, do I have a chance in pickleball?
Totally.
Nice. All right. There's
Also
my
very
first
short. Very short. We didn't leave.
Hey, I on camera, I look pretty tall, guys. All right.
I'm 5'2", so height doesn't matter.
And like everyone knows I'm the biggest guy that likes to joke around, but let me just like the answer to that question is actually like a serious answer. And like this sport is legit for everybody. Like if you can just stand there and like move your arm like this, there's a way that you can play this game. If someone just shows you where to stand, like that is, I think, what leads to that addiction about this sport. And, I equate it to me and Elise were talking behind the scenes before we went live, and it was like, what is the thing that drives this addiction to people loving this sport? And kind of what we said is if you give my mom plays and she's not active at all, if you give her a paddle, 95% of the time she could dink it over the net and be successful. But if I gave her a basketball and just said like make a layup, she would really struggle with that. So it really, really does lend itself to like anybody can play this game. So I know why the question was asked, but I do just want to drive home like legit anybody. You go out there, get a paddle, you find yourself a net, you draw some lines, you'll have an absolute blast and get hit by that addiction. I can guarantee you. So
Elise, I mean, listen to everything you guys were talking about. The fact that you signed with the PPA. I mean, getting sponsors like this. I mean, you've got 2 major sponsors now, right? That you're totally tied into. What are those? How does that work?
So my first sponsor was Pickle Roll. And if you've heard of Pickle Roll, it's a... yeah.
There it is.
Here it is.
I'll bring that up.
Yeah,
right?
they'll tap
It's probably pickleroll.com, right? I can bring that up.
Yeah. It's a rollout court that plays just like professional surface that we play on. Yep, there it is, just like that. And so you can roll it out in any hard surface right there. And so this is awesome. This actually shows exactly how it is. It's really cool.
Is this the stuff, at least? Like, I'm seeing restaurants that are opening up now and bars left and right that have. So this is pretty much what they're probably putting in there, right?
A lot of them, some will do like the full-on courts, but most are doing pickle rolls. And it literally plays like if you've been on a tennis court or a pickleball court, it plays the exact same. So the creator, Nate Holm, so he's my main sponsor, came up with this idea a few years ago. He just did the normal just surfacing courts, but now he came up with the actual rollout court, which is super awesome. So
Jigga, name me a gym, a school that has gym class in the next 5 years that isn't gonna have like a bunch of these. Like,
exactly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even we're talking about like whatever you want to talk about, like getting it yourself, like just in gym class, like every single gym with the way this sport is going is gonna have, you know, the product like that, because you legit just roll it up. Like I had that for other surfaces in my gym class. Like this just makes complete sense for that.
Now, at least do you see yourself, because obviously you're signed with the PPA, all that, but I see, like, for instance, last week, right, we saw the alert, Drew Brees buys a pickleball team, and like, is that like next steps too? Is becoming a part of maybe an ownership group and a team? Is that options available?
Yeah, I think it's possible. Right now, though, it's just mainly the PPA tour and the MLP tour are different. Yeah, okay. Kind of like how the golf tours were, if you remember.
Yeah. Right.
Anyways, and so right now the PPA tour though has more appearance fees and stuff like that, and they have Ben Johns. They're better pros in the world, and so most of the pros who have signed with the PPA aren't able to play in the MLP draft. So it's kind of like the
different
the
leagues.
new growing fight right now. So I think
we make no bones about it. We're PPA stands. We're kind of in the similar boat as everyone else. We're like, we have nothing against the APP and the MLP. Yeah. And honestly, when the PPA doesn't play, like I'm going to be watching all the events that I can. But like any week that, you know, the PPA is on, that's, you know, what I'm going to be covering. And honestly, people ask me why. It's kind of, when I originally got into it, I did a little research. And like you said, it was more so the quick thing was you look at the players, and I felt like the ones that were signed with the PPA, like you said, you're saying, and I'll say it, Ben Johns being the main one. It's like, oh, he's there. If you're just getting a pickleball to start, who's the best guy? I want to watch him. Let me follow that tour. So the PPA did a great job getting him. And then, you know, you watch him, you see who his partners are, you see who his opponents are. When he's in the same tour after and after and after, you get to see the similar players over and over. You get introduced to you get introduced to Callie, you get introduced to, you know, Megan.
Yeah,
That's how it starts to grow.
I'm excited about the fact that we talked about you signing with PPA, your sponsorships, you turned it into a career. At some point in the future, if this show goes the way I plan on it going, you're going to add to your resume, first guest on Pickle Juice. How you doing?
No, actually, this show gets where it's going to go, Jigga. Queen Elise is going to have, hopefully, the honor, you know, if it gets where it's going, to say she's on the Knights of D-Gen pickleball team. That's
there
the
premiere.
There it is. Premiere. Like, again, knock on wood. It's not like the craziest that, like, Drew, you know, he's like, he could probably be sold on that pretty easily, but like a PPA Knights of D-Gen pickleball team is eventually where this is going. And we can now guarantee that if that ever happens, no matter what the situation is, no matter how you're playing at that current time, no matter what stage of career you're in, Elise Johns will be the first invite onto that team, the captain, the leader, our ace to go into tournaments. But yeah, that's the goal, right, Jigga?
Yeah. Jose, why don't you throw a dink doink question?
Yeah, Elise. So we've had like a pretty good privilege here to like talk to some like really great athletes, right? But like you have a very unique experience as far as professional athletes go, which is that you discovered a new sport and found out that you were one of the best at it. Like what is that like? That's not something I've really heard of before in like the modern era of sports.
It's so hard to tell people that I started during COVID because they're like, what? You're a professional athlete, and one of the top players in the world at this sport, and you started 2 years ago. Like, doesn't make sense. But I'm kind of unique that, like, even though I've been training for 2 years, I've actually been, with how much time I've put in, it's been like 4 years. Like I am a personality that's like, I want to get as good as I can at what I'm doing as fast as I can. So, it took a lot of time to get there and a lot of sacrifice, but I have a family that like supports it like crazy. So my husband from day one has been all about it. And so he just literally he's like, I got the kids, you just go train. So
yeah, it sounded like you did like a whole sensei thing, and he was like, "Oh, go take this lesson. Like, let me show you the way, Padawan." And it worked out so good, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
So we had somebody in the chat
right now.
We had a question in the chat. So, do you see the different leagues? Do you see that in the future, possibly being like the NFL, AFC, NFC kind of deal, like that they turn those into big divisions kind of deal?
Yeah, I think it's getting there with the PPA. I mean, they're getting sponsors that like the Hertz deal, like us pros. We don't have to buy our rental cars right now. They have we're getting discounts at hotels and stuff, not like free stays yet, but like the PPA is doing a really good job at bringing a lot of sponsorship opportunities. So I think it can get there. But we do need, the money needs to get there with like bigger names coming in, bigger sponsorships. So, yeah.
Do you not like watching yourself play, Elise?
Not singles. I'm definitely, I'm kind of, I play singles because I love it. But I mean, being 34 years old, and I come from a volleyball background in college where most of these other pros are college tennis. So their game is a little bit different than mine when it comes to singles.
What are like the crossover skills that you get coming from volleyball as opposed to like coming from tennis background? Like, is there like a skill set that you bring to volleyball that other athletes don't?
Yeah. So one thing that I bring really well is I can read, like, especially on overheads when they're hitting it high, I can read where they're hitting the ball before they hit it. Just because I'm used to being the defender, and when, hitters in volleyball go up to hit, I can tell if they're going to swing line or angle. And so I got trained that way as a libero when I was a volleyball player. That's the one person with a different colored shirt on the back row.
That's a crazy valuable skill in pickleball that I wasn't even thinking of, to know where they're going to like to put your paddle down when they're doing that spike. Wow. I never even thought of that.
It's like the Dennis Rodman rebounding ability, right? Like just like the crazy vision.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's probably been the biggest benefit of my game. Like I get almost, when I get into defensive mode, I get pretty much everything back.
Wow.
How many like tournaments are you like in right now, like throughout the year? Let's say this year so far in August, right? We're in August. Yeah. Like how many tournaments have you pulled off? And when tournaments aren't going on, are there other things that are you doing other matches? How does that work? Yeah. So this year there'll be 23 PPA tournaments. I heard next year there's going to be 26. So we're busy. Like we're nonstop all year round. For example, this month for me, they gave us a little bit of break in July. But I had a tournament last weekend here in LA, the Showdown, and then I have the Selkirk at the Riviera Country Club in LA this weekend. And then next weekend is another tournament in Utah. And then I'm doing a Yola clinic. That's my other sponsor, Yola Pickleball, in Orlando. So I'm gone for all 4 weekends of this month. So, I mean, I'm busy. I'm very busy. And they do Tuesday night pickleball too at the Orchard in Arizona, where they have us pros come and play. So
And I'll do events for people. They pay pros to come in and play with them. So yeah, me and my husband were saying it's at least three tournaments or like 3 events every month.
Nice. So I also heard her say
so much pickleball.
did you guys heard her, right? She said we need to get to Orlando to watch a match live.
Yeah.
And but she said only 1 press pass. So I'll use it. You guys just wait behind.
I think we need put in the call Drew Austin. We're gonna fly down there. We're gonna sign her to the Knights of Degen team right then and there.
You guys can go. I've made friends in the YouTube like PPA tour chat all week. Like me and my buddies were watching all the games legit all weekend. The same people in the chat over and over. It was a lot of fun. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Elise, thank you for answering our questions. I'll jump off screen so you guys can finish this up. But good luck on the next one, and we look forward to keeping up with everything you're doing. Thanks for taking time for us. So,
yeah.
No, that was great. They had questions in the back. They're I don't even know if they play pickleball, honestly. That's something they obviously know what it is, but
yeah,
I'd be interested to see, if they played a lot. No, but this was fantastic. I really appreciated this. My closing question, a little bit for selfish reasons, a little bit for everyone who's watching and is going to watch this. If you go back to the moments, when you were going to the gym with your husband and you were trying to figure out, learn the game, how to play the game. There's a lot of people that are in that mode right now, learning to play the game. What's like one specific like tip or aspect of the game to focus on like right away and make your main focus early on that you think will ultimately speed up your process in ultimately doing what we all want to do which is winning however that happens. So like, what is that one thing?
So learning how to do a 3rd shot drop. Either you do a slice or a roll. Like that's huge. And learning how to be an aggressive dinker. A lot of people just try to just get it back and keep it low. But the pro level, like you're moving around, they're putting different spins on it. And so I would say that would be the 2 things that I would learn that are the most important is doing a 3rd shot drop and learning how to be an aggressive dinker. So
yeah, no, that's the 3rd shot drop, obviously, probably the toughest thing in the game and the thing I struggle with the most. And for people tuning in, what that means is each side has to let the ball bounce first. So when you serve, that's the 1st shot. It bounces. The other team hits it back. You have to let it bounce so you can't actually attack the net. And what that means and what Elise is saying is you're from further back trying to pull off a potential dink, which just goes over the net. But again, you're not close to the net, so you don't have the ability just to like put it over. You have to kind of use a little English on that shot where it doesn't go into the net and doesn't go far over the kitchen where they can spike it. And that's what she's saying. And that's kind of the shot that sets up the rest of the point. How you do on that 3rd shot, which is the 2nd shot after you serve it and they return it to you, is that does basically determine the point, correct?
Yeah. Yep. If you hit a high drop, you're just going to be you're on it automatically into defensive mode, So that was one thing. I was only a driver. Like a driver is when you just hit the ball as hard as you can on your 3rd shot after you serve, just hit it as hard as you can back at them instead of dropping it, this little lollipop into the kitchen. And it worked for me for a little bit, but then as soon as you get higher levels, if you want to play higher levels, you've got to have a drop shot. So.
Okay. So yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely asked that for everyone in the chat and not myself. So if you guys are listening, remember 3rd shot, get the drop shot in, get the slice in. If you're practicing, yeah. Why are you on Twitter? That's another thing. You got to get on Twitter.
I do need to get on Twitter.
We were trying to tag you. Like our more following is like on Twitter and stuff. So when we were trying to like tag you and stuff, we ended up just putting your name. But yeah, get on Twitter so we can tag you and you could do some stuff there. But you're on Instagram.
Yeah.
You're at EliseJones.pickleball on Instagram. You got a lot of great stuff going on over there. If you're on Instagram, check her out over there. Is there anything else for you specifically for people that are watching this that want to tune in to more of your stuff besides, you know, tracking the tour when you're playing and watching Instagram, how else can we get some more Elise Jones in our life?
So awesome. Mainly it's just like I have to like grow my following for sure. And so yeah, follow me on Instagram, and I know I have to get on Twitter, so I'll get on Twitter. But start watching the PPA tour. Like that will help grow the sport. The more viewers we get for pickleball, the more sponsorships will come. We were just recently on Tennis Channel with the Selkirk. So that was pretty awesome that we were on Tennis Channel, and we'll be on CBS this weekend. So it's growing, but the more you watch the tour, the bigger pickleball will get. So, and
Jones.pickleball. This is the page. Again, a ton of great stuff. The easiest way to track specifically where Elise is playing, and you know, if you're ever in the mood, you get the wholesome family stuff. Yeah. And again, honestly, like, not to be sappy, like when I was finding about, you know, like looking through the players early on and like following players, like this is the stuff of yours that I feel like people getting into the sport just love, you know, like we all love watching pickleball. We all love watching pickleball highlights, but you know, we can watch highlights all day. It's like this stuff of like getting to know the players as we're learning about them is mighty, mighty fun. And yeah, like you said, the more people that watch, the more sponsorships, the more people can do. I know us at the Knights of D-Gen are definitely going to do as much as possible to start watching the tour more. Jason, I think CBS was MLP, Tennis Channel was PPA. Me and my dad were watching that all Sunday. He was hyped because, again, like you said, when you got the check from the tour, that's like the eureka moment for you as terms of you can take this professionally. For him, someone who like it's like a low-key hobby, me to be able to show him the Tennis Channel was kind of that eureka moment for him. Like, oh my God, I got to start playing this even more. Like they're showing it here. Like I got to start getting good at it. So, you know, as these things start happening with, you know, Final Days being on Tennis Channel, you know, different things being streamed, Jamie Foxx going to the Selkirk and getting some news and hitting with some of the professionals. Like it's Jose kind of asked the question, like laid it up with that question. This is that new sport. Everyone is kind of loving it at the same time that it's growing it. And it's for every man just as much as it's for celebrities. I've heard story about Richard Branson flying people out to, you know, hit around and do sessions. So I keep saying it. Pickleball is going to get there. It's going to get where all the other sports are going. In my thread the other night, in a few years, maybe months, I think it's going to be very, very similar to tennis. Already the fastest growing sport in the last 2 years. I think the 2022 numbers are actually going to blow away the past 2 years. That's my hypothesis. I think people are going to look and be like, holy cow. And everyone that's here now is going to be happy that they're here now because this thing's going to explode. But did I miss anything else, Miss Jones, while I was trying to stand on my soapbox and sell to the people why pickleball is going to be the sport of the future? And I ask that seriously. Why is this sport? What is going to take the sport, and what makes you believe that this sport is one of those sports of the future that will be everywhere, like we're hypothesizing?
I think it's because there's so many different points that can happen when just on one rally. You know, they can be so different, whereas like other sports get kind of like the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean? When you're watching, that's why, like, I mean, you can hit a ball around the post in pickleball. Like the net is here, right? And you can hit the ball outside of it. That's kind of what around the post is, an ATP, you know, certain shots that are just so original in this sport. And it can go from playing slow to fast, like within seconds, you know, the ball. So it's just like, it's a sport that is so original and so fun to play. So anyone can play.
I agree. When you see something you've never quite seen before, you can almost do nothing but stick around and want to find out more. And then, you know, with the growth of where it's going, the ability to be able to find out about it via watching things like a professional circuit that you're on is crazy incredible. And, you know, we can only forecast the future of this beautiful game is going to go to the moon. But Miss Jones, Elise, I appreciate you being the first guest. I'm going to probably take a few days to weeks off from, messaging you so I don't annoy you. But I would like to do this again sometime very, very soon. And maybe next time, maybe we'll do it after a tournament that you and Megan play together. And we can have you guys both on and we can kind of, specifically discuss that tournament. And we'll maybe, divvy up the highlights for you guys and kind of break down your matchups of how you go through the tournament. Because I think that's, a cool way to also cover this sport. And to, in a sport that you answered yourself is predominantly doubles, that relationship between partners, is so much more important than skill. We all know in team sports, teamwork trumps skill at all times. Her knowing when you're going to cross over to the other side and not have to say anything, and her crossing the other way, to hear that conversation would be, mighty interesting. So hopefully we can connect in the next few weeks and we can make that happen.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And we're a good partnership to ask questions to. We've got a really good relationship. So
no, I would love that. So congratulations on your performance last week at the Selkirk. Even though I know you said it was fun to play with some other people, I know you're interested maybe to play with Megan a little bit more coming up in the future weeks. And you got another tournament coming up this weekend at SHHH, and let people know where that is. And is that on the tennis channel this weekend, or is it just the PPA YouTube stream?
I think it's PPA YouTube stream.
Okay.
And yes. So
it's CBS?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's awesome.
It's big this weekend. So yeah, it'll have it'll be both of those, but it's at the Riviera Country too. So
that's awesome.
Nice. Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's a beautiful venue.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy that, someone who loves the sport and genuinely knowing how much, just talking to you, you love the sport. It's so nice to now, like you're saying, you're getting to take your family to all these experiences, going to these cool places. And, I can't wait to touch base in a few weeks. We'll see if Megan wants to come on and we can break down your partnership a little more. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Thank you, Elise. I now consider you a good friend, really my first friend in the professional pickleball world. And we'll be staying in touch. I'll definitely, if I'm watching this weekend and I get a chance to watch one of your matches, don't be surprised if you get a text from me.
Okay, sounds good, man. Yeah, text
me.
Have
a great week.
You too.
Bye-bye. Jigga.
Bro. I'll start off by saying congratulations on your first interview on Pickle Juice. Way to go, bro. She is a talent. You can tell she loves the sport.
Oh, yeah. No, she is.
It's gonna be dope.
Look, she's a mom of three. Like, she's just a down-to-earth mom of three that happened to stumble upon a hobby that she's amazing at. She wanted to continue to practice with, and she became the ultimate professional. So, like, you hear her love of it, and it's not facetious, it's not fake, the way that she found this sport. And I love the way Jose asked it. It wasn't like football or basketball that you have this notion of, hey, I want to grow up to be a professional, I want that limelight, let me work for it. She just loved the game and then happened to find it at the same time the game took off. One thing led to another, and one day in her local gym with her husband turns into a few months, which turns into her signing with the premier professional tour.
That's like the dream, isn't it? Like when you pick up a new hobby.
The dream.
Like you pick up a new hobby and you're like, I'm pretty good at this, but like I don't know, I'm probably not like one of the top 10 players in the country,
Wrong.
But for her, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's
so good. Listen, you guys think I'm kidding? When I throw an idea out there, I mean, Orlando sounds like a possibility. I mean, we need to get live action of this.
Oh, absolutely.
I think,
this is
but look, hold on, Zook, because the pickle juice segment, we're getting past that. We're back to the what this stuff. We got to call out the fact. Moving forward, your name on screen should be Zook Doink, right?
The Doinker.
The Doinker, Zook, the Doinker on the pickle juice. I mean,
I knew we were gonna get along because I love people like, please correct me. This I was like, yeah, that's fine. It's not a doink, it's a dink. So correct me.
I think that we should change the vernacular on the show. Pickle Juice. When we talk about dinks, we call them doinks. Okay, we got our own language.
That's it. It's official. We are going with doinks, no dinks. Everybody in the chat, stay tuned. We'll take a quick commercial break, and we got more of that What the Sports Talk for you. We'll be right back. Stop the commercial. We got a VBA game to check in on. Knights of Dijon team. We didn't expect to still be going at 11 o'clock, did we, boys? Might as well watch what's going on with our VBA. Can we talk about Conan O'Duncan, bro?
Yo, he's just
Twitter account, man's killing it. He's
just a king. He's just a king. Our whole team is playing dominant, 3-0. Chris Krakalaka's got 6 in this game, and he's actually our highest average scorer. But we're playing him a little out of position as a 4, so he's been playing some, better defender big men. Where this hopefully could be the game where he, does it for us and is the leading scorer.
Now, Jose, I know you're busy usually during the day working. You don't get to see the 3 o'clock games.
No look to Al Duncachino. No look to Conan.
These names are just cracking. Swisher McGee.
Yo, the
Conan O'Duncan is Steph, and Al Duncachino is Draymond.
Bro, I'm telling you, if Swisher McGee was a real NBA player, he'd be my favorite player in the league.
Yeah, just the name alone, dude. The best part is, like last game, he was knocking down swishes, bro. They're like nothing but net 3-point. I was like, so good. I saw the VBA tweeting at
Discord that we're streaming it, or you want me to hop in?
Yeah, tell them in Discord. Tell them jump in right now. It's funny because even the VBA Twitter account, they heard about the bobbleheads that we gave away, and Jason Wright got one of Conan O'Duncan, so they asked to be put on the wait list. Of course Jason got one.
Jason gets everything.
Jason's just right. Get it? Jason right? No, too far? All right. So 3-0. All right, what's going on here? 21-11.
Yo, so right now Swisher McGee's 4 for 4. Swisher McGee's a dead-eye shooter. Yo, Conan's done nothing, but Conan goes on streaks. So like
he does, but
he'll eventually like 4 points. He'll go in.
It's that third quarter Clay, right? Steps in there and just starts knocking him down.
Yeah, but he's so random. It's like first half or second half. You don't know till the game starts which one he's going to do. But we were worried about the team. I think it was yesterday that was supposed to be like our competition, and we put a spanking on that one. Got rough in the 4th, but we ended up pulling it off.
Yeah, we've been spanking everyone, honestly.
Today we were
spanking someone after 3, and then we scored like 5 points in the 4th and still won by 17. But I really wanted to beat that team by like 30, and we will next time.
Yeah. You know what, Jose? The community was able to name a bunch, so I think what we need to do is get you, not tonight, but just think of some dope names. We're going to probably add another player to the roster here in the next week or 2.
Okay.
And I think we should let Jose, because you're so busy during the day, you haven't been able to hang out to do this. I want Jose Ruckus to be able to name one of our ballers. All right. So that's going to be your task for next week.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, I wasted the Jose Ruckus. I came up with that name. I thought I was done coming up with dope names, but I'll figure something out.
Yo, Conan hasn't even gotten hot yet, and we're up 14.
Can we zoom in on it a little bit more, Zook, you think? Or Yeah, right there. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
31-17.
31-17.
Here we go. Conan Duncan. All right,
Bro.
Conan's he's streaky right now. Come on, Conan.
This is gonna be like the Mavericks versus the Suns in the postseason, man.
It's so weird. But then when their chemistry hits, it's like 1, 2, like one after another. But then when they go cold, they really do go cold as a team. Oh, here's a steal, Duncaccino.
The Duncaccino's nasty. He does
Offensive
everything.
rebound.
Yo,
Misses.
Yo, Chris will miss a shot and always get his offensive rebound.
Chases
that's
his
so
rebound, man.
hard.
That's important moves, you know.
Oh, they got Pablo.
yo, we
Ventura
kind
on
of
their
D
team.
up. We kind of D up a little
Yeah.
bit recently.
Yeah. 8-foot
8-foot
driving
dunk.
dunk.
Wow,
Come on,
okay.
Chris. Cracker,
Flasher.
cracker. Look at that. Al already with more freaking rebounds. He had the double-double last game. So did Chris Cracker-Lacka. Chris was the MVP of the last game. All right. we got
Conan.
Boom. There's Conan.
He might get hot here. He might get hot at the end.
Let's start up. Come on. Ooh, we got a nice little lead going here. All right, third quarter.
Up by
End of
19
the half.
going into the third.
I want to go
Let's go.
in. Oh, this guy had a
Ooh,
running
they
3-pointer.
pull up.
Okay, let's relax.
Oh, they block a shot. Grab the
Duncaccino.
offensive.
Oh, come on. Oh, Chris.
Offensive
Yeah, you
rebound.
see that boy?
Ow.
Swisher McGee.
Swisher. Yes, sir.
You know,
Swisher
Al is
McGee's my dude.
crazy. Al is crazy.
Jose's already found his favorite. He's a Swisher guy.
Swisher McGee, man.
Yo, Al to Chris for 3.
Chris Crockett for 3. Let's go. Oh.
Okay, a little foul action.
Okay. All right. Oh, one miss by Swisher. That's all right. That's all right. We still got a nice lead here. What we got? Come on. Anthony Shaw. What's the name of this team?
Jigga, so you know what happened,
Ooh,
right?
dunk in transition.
Based on what the standings are for the week, if you are high, you get into that raffle that you win like
Right.
5 soul. And if you win 5
Yeah.
soul, that's like you build it like it's such
Did
a
you
smart
just-
move by them.
Did you just hear me? We will be adding a new player to the roster. Where do you think I was
Yeah.
banking that money from?
Yeah.
This season right here.
That's
Come
such a
on.
good idea by them to like input money that could be spent then like on their own players. That's
Swisher.
Yeah,
super fun.
Swisher.
Three-pointer, let's go.
No,
Let's-
Swisher
Here we
is
go.
just solid. Like Swisher, every game is going
Look
to
at
get us 20 points with phenomenal shooting.
Duncaccino
Conan
with
is
the
just-
rebound.
Oh, Conan, double
But, like,
dribble.
That was
Jigga,
good.
let me ask you this: as much as it sucks what he's doing, to be playing like this when when our best player is playing like ass. Like if the Warriors were up 15 and Steph was playing like this, you'd be like, "Oh shit, that's really
Yeah.
good."
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen it in the first couple games, right? The chemistry's there, and some guys are just. I mean, that first game, I was like, "Ooh, Chris had a rough one," and then he pulls the double today. You know,
All in and one dunk.
close moves. Let's
And
go.
that was the thing about the Warriors, right? When they were in their dynasty, like strength in numbers. Like
Yeah,
Steph had a bad
exactly.
game, Clay was gonna come through and drop 30 on you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh,
We
Jose
have
Swisher
that.
McGee with a
Swisher
steal.
McGee with a steal.
27-for-3. Let's go.
Yo, he hasn't been that
Ah!
efficient, but in this game, we just need points. So like, we need someone who can put Chris keep going. Like they're playing.
Yeah,
good
but look at
defense,
that. Chris
but-
has already got the
Yeah.
double.
It's the
20
in the
points,
second
4
half here,
rebounds.
it's been the rebounding that they've been missing
Yeah.
on the rebound.
Duncaccino,
All right, fourth quarter.
4, 9, and 7. Swisher.
Swisher
Swisher!
McGee, a fadeaway, and then grabs the steal on the
Yo, he's
other
also a
side.
crazy defender, Jose. You'll see that he gets so many steals at big moments. Swisher.
Bro, and he's
Duncaccino.
7 for 10 from in field goal percentage here, like 17
Another.
points.
Let's go on a mini run. Paulie
Post
posting
move.
Up
up.
21 on him.
Yo, I want Conan to get a little hot though.
Yeah. Conan was solid our first 3 games.
Oh, he's been good. He'll get on a little bit of a run soon.
I would
Pauly
like to
post
see.
move.
I would like to see. Like, I mean, 6 points. That's whatever. I would like to see the assist numbers.
Conan puts him on a poster.
Poster. Let's go.
Poster?
And look, there's Al. Another rebound.
Al.
Another rebound.
Ow.
Al's
Now we're going on a run.
Chris. Yo,
Now we're going on a run up
Sick.
25
Here
points.
we
So
go.
So, Jose, I was thinking if we're gonna cover this on Tuesdays, maybe we should get Conan involved, right? And make it late night with Conan O'Duncan. Like,
Oh, I like that.
Duncan.
yeah.
Game with Conan O'Duncan.
Little post game interviews. I mean,
Al with an L1.
let's go.
Love to see it. Love to see
It's
it.
another
Steal.
win.
Go,
Chris
Swisher.
Kirk.
Bounce pass to Swisher for 2.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Let's get a rebound, Al.
Another win. How much time
Come
we
on,
got left?
Dude, when you look at Chris's score, 22 points, 14 rebounds,
Yeah.
4 steals.
Yeah, he's been playing
This
great.
man's in there like Wilt right now.
Yeah, Chris is killing it, man. And Al just doing what he does best.
Al's
Just
nuts. Al
rebound,
is
bam,
nuts.
and assist.
Yo, it's steal. Yo, Al is just
Steal.
nuts.
Oh,
Okay,
it's all right.
that's a
It's all right.
Yeah, it's like it's at that point where it's like the time's just going now.
Yeah.
Oh,
How much
no,
time is
I-
left in this one?
Up to
Minute 40.
30.
Swisher, defensive rebound.
Yo,
Damn, Conan was. It's all right. He was.
You
rough
know,
this one.
tomorrow he's gonna go crazy.
Yeah, he gave us a lot in the early ones. All right, Paulie post moves. All right, Paulie
Yeah,
post
get
moves.
the free throws.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are 4-0. Oh, there's Conan with a rebound.
Okay, so let's look at the box
quarter
score real
is
quick.
the
I guess we can
Bam.
take part of the game live, right?
21-point win. Cone Duncan, 8 points.
And I mean,
3
that's all
rebounds.
Chris. When you look at 22 points, he's the difference.
Yeah.
Like that's
Literally.
Okay.
Yo,
Can I just go back at you guys for one thing? Let me just say,
Yeah,
let me give
of
you my
course.
argument for Swisher. My argument for Swisher is 2 things. This game is all about efficiency and your differential at your position. So I look at, yes, Chris got 22, but Swisher got 19 with 8 of 12.
8 of 12.
And
9
Swisher
of 23
held
on
his guy at
Chris.
2 points. So Swisher won by 17, where Chris only won his matchup by 8. So I think like Swisher by far was the best player in that game. Like to hold his opponent to 2 points is phenomenal. To have a 17.
Yeah, but at the same token though, if you look at Chris with those 14 rebounds
14
and who he's
rebounds.
up against with 8 rebounds, he almost doubled up on the rebounds. Like to me, we got all these guys, but a double-double goes a long way.
I would like to see the breakdown because I saw a lot of Chris's rebounds being offensive rebounds, which offensive rebounds are so much more valuable than defensive rebounds.
I think they can pull it from the API, so we will have those stats when SportsBean gets that. Because I know MJ
SportsBean
can pull
puts it
that.
all in documents for us in Discord. It's great.
So I think he can
tracking.
pull it from the API, so we'll get that.
Okay.
But yeah, this one only says offense. But I agree with you 100%. I think more of Al's rebounds came defensive, and I think more of Paulie Postmate and Chris Krakalaka came on the offensive. So I do agree with that point. And you can never count out Al. Like Al's whole thing is Al is very inefficient. So if Al shoots less than 6 times in a game, he's almost the best player. Like he gives you the actual Draymond effect. His problem is if he shoots 10 to 15 times, he only shoots 20%, so it kills you. If he shoots 4 or 5 times, he can miss every single time. I don't care, because look what he does. He holds his man to 2 of 10 shooting.
Yep.
He gets 13
Defensive player.
rebounds. He gets 7 assists. He gets 2 steals. He gets 1 block. And he's our main ball handler as a playmaking big with a scoring point guard. And he had 0 turnovers. So, like, on an efficiency standpoint and just dominating and controlling a game, I'm not saying he was the most valuable player. Any game that Al shoots 3 for 5, you can always make a case he was the MVP of that game. And Boomer knows. Boomer's an Al stan. Boomer named Al.
First of all, what up, Smoke? What up, Boomer? Everybody in the chat, how great was it to cover our 4-0 win right here? This squad is...
The leaderboard, oh, no, we're not in first. We got a game tomorrow against first place.
Down 13 points.
Oh, no, we don't have a game tomorrow. 3 o'clock on Thursday.
No,
We have Sam Bree, Showmakers versus Knights of Degen. I'm going to work on getting I know Sam Bree. He's in Zed. He's a good stable, so I'll see if he'll watch the game with us.
So that's them on the 11th. Tomorrow we have who?
Tomorrow we have 3. We have Irwin Yeat, so that's going to be an easy win. And we have Downtown Glaciers. So tomorrow we have 2 wins.
Nice.
Like we're realistically going to beat every should we look at Sam Bree? We can
They're
look
scoring
at their
more
game
points.
tonight and see what they did. Just tonight we'll see what they did. And we'll locate their players. Watch today. Crackles, view results. Okay, they're similar to us. They're well-rounded.
They had a 20-point win on there. They've got us by what, 13 points on the total standings? Is this
their small forward there almost put up a triple-double.
It looks like, and I bet you if I click on it, it's like a playmaking wing or playmaking forward.
They actually had 2 players almost put up a triple-double in that game.
Versatile forward. Because you can just look at those stats. So this is the matchup where definitely tomorrow,
But you know what? Go back a second, because here's my thing. I love that, cool. Triple, right? But the team they were up against, I want to see if their defense is holding it down like ours, because we're killing it on rebounds and steals, right?
Well, best. Let's look at who's the best team. They only beat Zoskin by 2, and Zoskin was in 3rd place. So let's look. So they beat the 3rd place team.
That's what, because it takes points just total. I would like to see point differential as a stat instead of total points.
Let's do it real quick. We can actually do that real fast. So Sambry has given up 92, 83, 67, 53. So that's 295, and we've given up. Because it is all about point differential. Yeah. We've given up 98, 77, 70. Sorry, 98, 77, 72, and 50.
50.
So we've given up 2 more points. Oh no, our point differential. We've given
our
up
point our point differential is worse than theirs.
Yeah, we've given up 2 more and scored 10 less. And
that's tough.
But the 3rd best team in the league is Zoskin, and they beat them by 2 at home, and we beat them by 19 at home, Jigga.
That's true.
That's huge.
We beat them by 19, only scoring look at this 4th quarter, Jose.
When we play them, are we playing at home or are we playing away? Because that shows that our home and away splits are much bigger than theirs.
Look at this, Jose. We were up 22 going into the 4th quarter, and we went on a cold streak. But we still beat this team by 19. Sam Bree only beat this team by 2 at home. Now let's go check. They're coming to us, baby.
They're coming to us. Let's
go. We play way better at home than they do.
Let's go. Knights are ready. We got this.
Don't come to the Coliseum and expect to walk away with anything. Then Conan standing over you, you looking up at the VBA committee, and us standing there like the Roman emperor going like this. And Conan will then
They're going to try to get in the Degen Tavern and denied. You're not getting in. There's no drinks for you, all right? I mean, even Boomer said it. They faced weaker competition than we have so far.
Yeah.
Let's also take a step back. We have Irwin Yeat in downtown Glaciers, and we should take care of business. Tomorrow is probably a day that Fabio Jesus will get some run.
Yeah, Fabio hasn't had a chance on the court yet.
Tomorrow's probably a day that 2 or 3 of the new – we have 3 people on the bench. 1 or 2 of them will probably get some run tomorrow. And then, because before we go up in a matchup against Sam Bree, we want to test out a few other people, because if that's our actual biggest matchup, let's pull from as many different players as we can from that. And right now we have I'm in my office. My dad makes me use
That's an accountant right there, bro.
I use this shit.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, my dad
right.
My
I remember back at work running the books when I was the manager.
I could turn off the rolling noise where the thing rolls every time you do it. My dad
I like that. That keeps me on track of
it's good because it keeps you focused in the moment when you hear that in rhythm.
Smoke said, "Is that a time machine?"
We got NFL power rankings.
Let's do the power rankings, dude.
You want to do that?
If Zook wants to stick around for the power rankings, let's do the power rankings first.
I got power rankings in my head.
Let's do power rankings.
Well,
all right, this is what FanDuel came out with.
We're doing the FanDuel power rankings first.
Okay. We're gonna discuss these FanDuel rankings
because these upset me quite a bit.
Jigga, can we throw up? You want to throw up a commercial for 2 minutes?
2 minutes?
Yeah, we can run to the bathroom real quick.
Well, we can do. Let's run through the WNBA stories first.
I'll go run in 2 minutes, and then I'll come back.
Yeah,
we're good. All right, so you know what? We'll stick with basketball. How about a little WNBA, bro? You want to touch on it?
So I've been watching a lot of WNBA lately.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
I've been
ever since we started talking about it.
Yesterday's Liberty Wings game, dude. That game was actually really so good.
So good.
And of course, like in that game, Sabrina Ionescu, who've been talking about a lot on this show because she's just been tearing it up, man. She became one of the fastest players in WNBA history yesterday to hit 1,000 points in her career. One of the youngest as well. She's just been the point goddess, man. She's the first player in WNBA history to have 500 points, 200 rebounds, 200 assists in a single season,
dude. It's so crazy.
The point goddess.
Do you remember the first time we were talking about her and I messed up her name so bad, and here we are. She's made sure that we don't mess up her name.
Exactly. Dude, right? I've
ridiculous.
The jersey is sitting in cart right now.
Nice.
Like, I'm thinking about going through with it cuz like seriously, like every single day that I see her playing, like I tune in and I'm just so blown away by her abilities as a player. Like she's doing everything on the court. Like, one, she is so good from three, hitting these incredible deep 3-pointers. If you leave her even slightly open, she's a sniper. She's bringing down.
To me, especially for like young girls, right, that want to play basketball, like her jersey, I can see that being like when young boys were rocking Kobe or MJ. Like, she's getting that status, you know, that you want to have that. I mean, you say yourself, you have it in the cart, bro. Like,
dude, she excites me so much when she plays, and she's so young too. Like, she has such a big career ahead of her that she's already hit these huge landmarks in her career, and she's 24.
I know.
You don't have a Sabrina Ionescu jersey. I got it the moment she was drafted by the New York Liberty, and all my friends made fun of me. And now I have the coolest jersey out of any of us, because this girl is one of the best basketball players. This young woman, I don't even want to call her a girl because she's a woman. She's one of the best basketball players, regardless of gender, anything, any quality about a human being, just basketball player in general.
Yeah.
If you were just playing at a pickup park and you had to get a starting five, like, she's in consideration.
She's going to give you buckets.
Yeah, she's going to be, you know, your Al Doncacino. Like, hands down.
She's so good in like every facet of the game too. When you look at her like stat sheets and stuff, because she's like super good from three. She drives to the basket incredibly. You go watch her assists. Like, oh my god, her assists are insane.
Literally,
rebounding ability.
Assists. 200 assists so far this year.
Look, she's an efficient Russell Westbrook. That's the easiest way to put it. She's playing like Russell Westbrook with the triple-double mentality with the stats.
Except she can shoot from three.
There you go. Exactly.
Shooting-wise, and like putting up these numbers where like she's going up the WNBA triple-double. Like, she just started playing. She had to sit out her whole first year. She's already climbing up all of these leaderboards. It's insane.
That's the insane thing, because we just talked about it. She's one of the fastest players to hit 1,000 points.
Oh, yeah.
And she missed her first year.
I was devastated when she got hurt.
But I mean, just the fact that she even missed her first year and she's already, you know, and this season is just ridiculous.
I really want to see because like the Liberty, obviously they've got their point guard figured out. Their center, Hun Shu, she's so talented as well. They need like one more serious sharpshooter to like really put this team over the edge and be a championship contender.
I mean, if you look at the articles, right, they're already donning her the Queen of New York. You know, like, she is no joke. If you haven't watched, you gotta watch. Someone's got.
Because we're gonna talk about Sue Bird here next, but like you look at Sue Bird, Candace Parker, like these are the players that you think like the GOATs of the WNBA and stuff.
Right.
And Sabrina's making like a serious argument that she's gonna be the next in line.
Yes, but let's also pay respect to Sue Bird and like.
Oh, well, look.
Yeah, like Sue Bird is right. Again, as I was saying, similarly when I was describing Sabrina, like Sue Bird is one of the best basketball players of all time to ever play the sport of basketball. Like,
she's been doing it for so long.
19 years, dude. Right?
Yeah. Dude, I remember like watching her like in college when I was younger. Like, and now like she's been in the pros forever and she just keeps winning and she keeps leading the league in different categories, and she just like every time you're like, this is her last year, she kind of does like that Tom Brady thing.
Well, I think this one really is. I mean, she's making it really clear.
Yeah.
She's looking at all her options, hence why my graphic at the bottom says we need a big push for Sue Bird to be in the Knights of Dejan. I'm going to tag the crap out of it. There's no reason why she shouldn't be. But guys, I mean, literally 19 years, all-time leader in assists and games played. not to mention 5-time Olympic gold medalist.
Yep.
I mean, the way they put, said goodbye to her too
career.
at home, just so good. So good. That I love that commercial. I forget what credit card it is, but it's the one where they say something and Magic Johnson, they say Bird, and he's like, oh man, it's not Larry Bird, it's Sue Bird that comes out, and then Larry Bird cracks me up every time. But sticking with WNBA. Oh, go ahead, Jose.
Oh, I just love that, like, Sue Bird has made it to the point where the WNBA is actually starting to really pop off. Like, they're getting national commercials, they're getting national recognition, they're talking about it on ESPN and stuff. I'm glad that she's made it to that point in her career before she left. I'm so happy for her.
That's a great point, because it's a little bit different, but you think about that with like athletes that like were around like just before like the money popped off, and like how they're not like as well off right now. Like, it's so great to see it kind of pay off for her. Not that she was probably ever going to struggle, because she is an icon, but I totally agree with you. Like, someone like that, thank God
her to get, like, literally, like, I mean, I'm sure everybody saw on Twitter the video of the little girl handing her the flower at her last home game. But literally, for her to get her flowers in the national spotlight at the end of her career, I'm so happy for that.
Yeah, well deserved too. I mean, and the fact to see how far WNBA is coming. I mean, we we're guys that we've met Renee Montgomery and get the taste of that stuff. Like, so good. But talking about WNBA, Candace Parker. I mean, literally, what becomes
another one of the GOATs?
The 5th WNBA player to reach 600 blocks.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of made the WNBA cool in the modern era, right? Like, Candace Parker was like that superstar at Tennessee, right? That like all the time on ESPN, like they were showing Candace Parker. Candace Parker was doing things. Obviously, that's how you follow her in college. People started kind of following her in the WNBA. And she was one of those, early pioneers of building up, enough of a following to carry over.
In an era dominated by UConn basketball, for her to pop off from another college and be a big player, that was so huge. Like,
I mean, it was a statement, and it kind of just put her on the map before everything took off, which is dope. Well, all right, let's switch from WNBA. I want to touch a little bit on Crawleytown, WAGMI United. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. First, we'll talk about the game on Saturday, okay? Number one, they looked more aggressive.
Yes.
Okay, the defense definitely stepped up. And I don't think the defense was even a problem in the first game either. I mean, you can see that they're holding their own. Both matches, they lost by 1, right? 1-0 in both of them. But they've got to stop missing wide open shots.
The shots on goal are a problem.
Jigga sounded all calm for a second, and then he's like, but they got to stop missing wide open.
I mean, look at it. I thought we were getting the Tilly cheer right here. Look at this. And oh my gosh. Like, legit ruined my day for like a couple of hours on Saturday.
I mean, we're always going to be called a spade guy. And when I'm saying this, I'm not trying to talk shit. It's just calling a spade. That's the difference between, the league Crawley is in, versus, turning on maybe an EPL game on Saturday.
Yep.
But the spin zone of that is, that's kind of almost why, college basketball and college football has that love for it, like that rawness of like, who knows what's going to happen. Like, as long as you buy into that fact with this league and the skill level, you can actually kind of love, like things like this happen. And as frustrating as it is, it's a very fun thing to watch.
But
it's tough, man.
We need a striker. I mean, would you guys agree? I feel like we need another weapon.
They've been adding defensive talent this season.
Yeah,
absolutely. The defenders have been on point and stuff, but we haven't scored a goal yet in league play. And it's only been 2 games, obviously, the nature of the sport, but we need somebody who's like really a threat, you know, shooting on goal.
But hey, the Carabao Cup today, they got their first goal. We got a win in the first round. Listen, I told you, Zook, you can confirm this. I didn't get to talk to Jose on Saturday because he was working, but I said Tom Nichols reminds me of what's his name from Ted Lasso. Jamie Tart. Jamie Tart. I mean, not because I've heard him talk or anything. He has the hair and everything else. Like, yo, that's our Jamie Tart right there. And our boy showed up today, killed it. We took that first round 1-0. They move on to the second round. And with all the different upsets in the Caribou Cup, we literally look like we have a good chance. Definitely in the second round, moving to that third.
This team has been
excited.
better in like tournament settings too. Like you remember last year they made a pretty deep FA Cup run and stuff. So like really exciting for them to make a good tournament run.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because ever since we started covering this and we all got, Knights DJ jumped into it, it's like I find myself just reading WAGMI stuff, reading Crawley's. I'm like, oh, what's going on with the signings? What's going on? But the good thing is, I will let you guys know, and I didn't get to tell you yet, reached out, talked to Preston, talked to the guys there. We're working on some stuff. We're going to get some post-game interviews with the manager, players, and everything. So we'll be able to use that on Tuesday nights on What the So I'm going to set up after the game interviews. Yeah, we're going to cover WAGMI. We're going to cover Crawley the right way. Jose, you better be available for those because you know the terminology. And I'm just like, hey, Jamie Thorne lookalike, how you doing? So I'm counting on you.
Last week it was a 1-0 loss. We call it nil. When we're watching soccer, we call it nil.
All right, listen, I'm learning, and it's getting there. It's getting there, guys. Let's jump in to the last topic, and I knew we had to bring this up because I'm sure Jose has a lot to say about FanDuel.
I'm feeling very disrespected by the FanDuel rankings.
Why is that, Jose?
The Seahawks are last? 32nd? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. They would be last in my power rankings as well.
How?
You have a horrid defense and no quarterback.
Okay, one, we don't have a horrid defense. We have a not great defense, but we were not horrid. Also, no quarterback. Look at the rest of these teams. Marcus Mariota's playing quarterback for the Falcons.
I like Mark. But that's the thing. Like, that's how bad. Like, I like Marcus Mariota more than Drew Lock.
Who's he throwing to?
Cordarrelle Patterson.
Yeah, we have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, but Russell Wilson had those guys, and you did dick.
Last year when he had a broken finger.
Yes. I mean, that's
and
fair.
even with that, DK Metcalf was one of the top wide receivers in the league.
Look, is last
DK got his numbers with Geno last year.
Yeah, I do agree.
Tell me on the Bears and Falcons being worse than you because I saw Justin Fields throwing some passes like out of the end zone. So okay, you could sell me on the Falcons and Bears and maybe even the Texans, but after that, I really do think there's like a distinct jump between those bottom four and like the Jaguars. So like the most I would give you is 29.
Pete Carroll made it to the playoffs with Tavares Jackson.
Yeah, but he also missed the playoffs.
Clipboard Jesus.
He also missed the playoffs with Russell Wilson.
No, come on.
No, please let it out. This is what we're here for.
And your division too factors. Like you're in a good division as well.
It is extremely.
That shouldn't factor into the power rankings, but just a point to make.
It is extremely good division.
Yeah.
Overall, I think just our talent level, I think we consistently have a better talent level than all the teams up to about the Giants. I think we're sitting about like, I'm not saying we're like a playoff team or anything by any means. I'm just saying last.
It hurts me to say this because I'm a diehard Steelers fan. I think Baker is significantly better than Geno or Drew Lock.
I mean, fair enough. I like Baker.
Yeah.
I think Baker's a good player. I'm just saying, like, what do you like? This strikes me as like the peak horrible analysis I get from like most places like FanDuel, which is essentially it's just we look at the names. You go down and you say, well, Geno Smith isn't a name we care about, so put him at the bottom.
All right, so let's do
Marcus Mariota. We remember him. He was a first-round pick.
Artie Burns, and that guy sucks.
Let's do this. Do we agree that the Bills should be number one? Let's start there.
Okay, that's pretty ridiculous as well. The Bills at number one?
Yeah, the Bills at number one. The Bills. People are sleeping on the fact that Von Miller went there. Like sleeping on that hard. Like he's a huge game changer. Like, and it's more so like look at the other ones. Like comparison, Bills are better than the Bucs. Bills are better than the Rams. Bills are better than the Chargers. So yeah,
Jason wants to know why are the Chargers at 4?
Justin Herbert. Everyone's buying into Justin Herbert, even though their coach is terrible. And their
that's
coach
what I quite like their coach actually. But this is what I'm talking about, which is we're running through. This is a power ranking that's built entirely on names. It's running through 100%. And like who's got the most big names, and we're gonna stick them in order of that.
If not the Bills.
Okay, we're saying the Chiefs fell off to 6 because Tyreek Hill left.
That's fair. But
I don't see why the Chiefs aren't in the top. Like,
that's a different question. I agree with you. The Chiefs aren't 6, but is that your way of saying you believe the Chiefs are 1?
The Chiefs are 1 until they prove me that they're not 1. That's just the way I'm operating. Whenever the Chiefs go into a game, I'm assuming the Chiefs are going to win that game.
Do you think they have the best player in football?
I mean, Patrick Mahomes is probably the best player I've ever seen touch a football.
Okay. And that's a fair point. You can never make the argument of the team with the best quarterback is the best team in the league.
I mean, and then you're looking at the Packers. The Packers have a stacked roster.
Yeah.
With, I mean, again, Devontae Adams left. But, I mean, like, it feels like it wasn't that long ago that Devontae Adams wasn't even a factor on the Packers, right? Like, they've consistently been able to bring up, people didn't believe in Jordy Nelson. People didn't believe in Devontae Adams when he was first drafted there. They've consistently been able to bring in talent and prove us otherwise. And I like Adam Lazard quite a bit. So I think the Packers deserved a real shout at like 1 or 2.
And even to echo off that, I think the Packers and the Chiefs are like a really good supplement. And I love the fact that the Packers are higher because when I compare those two teams, let's just wash at Rodgers and Mahomes. Like we can nitpick, but let's wash those two for this year. When you look at weapons and the fact that they both lost Hill and Adams, let's say those are scratched as well. Like I think the Packers definitely have like a significant defense. So I think those two teams are very easy to compare to each other and to always make sure that the Packers are, a spot ahead of the Chiefs. So if you wanted to make, the Packers 2 and the Chiefs 3, you could sell me on that, but I'm probably not moving Bills from 1 personally. Jigga,
all right, so let me ask you this then. And same with you, Smoke, and everybody in the chat. Who are you taking out of that top 5? Who are you taking out? From the Bills, Bucks, Rams, Chargers, Packers.
Chargers for sure.
Chargers still have to prove it.
Yeah, for sure. Their coach has to prove that he can coach in a big game.
Okay, so that's the one out of those 5 that we're taking. The other 4 stay in the top 5. Not a specific order of 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you keeping those other 4 in that top 5?
I think.
Ooh, Smoke says no. It's fine with him. Smoke, who's your team? I need to know.
I can take the Bucks out. Is that crazy? I can take the Bucks out.
I like it.
Godwin not there. Gronk gone. The Saints, I think, are going to be very good this year with Jameis for a full year. And I can see the Bengals with a significant offensive line and not losing anything else, easily slipping into 5. Like
I could as well.
Bills, Packers, Chiefs, Rams, Bengals, probably.
I like that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
Go ahead, Jose.
Packers are really good.
You know which one really stings me? Like really, really gets my goat here. What the hell are the Broncos doing at number 7?
No. If we actually bring up their depth chart, do you hate Russell Wilson now?
I'm just saying. Okay, we're talking depth charts. We're talking depth charts. Do you think that the Broncos as a team now were better than the Seahawks were last year just based on depth charts?
Oh yeah, 100%.
100%?
The Broncos defense is nasty.
They weren't that nasty last year.
No, they were like top 5 in scoring and yards per game. Like they were really.
Those are the 2 stats that carry over the least amount season to season.
No, but I mean their defense is good. I don't know this by heart. I'm looking at their depth chart.
Defense is fine. Who's their best receiver?
Simmons is great. Bradley Chubb is great. Like they have a great offensive line since they fucking stole Munchak from me. He's the best offensive line coach in the game. And more than anyone, Russell Wilson's elite. Russell Wilson's really freaking good.
So here's my argument. Jose, you've said it before. Right? You and Coach, when we were talking about it earlier, there's quarterbacks that can make other people better. I do think, and I agree with Smoke in the chat, I do think the Broncos possibly win that division.
Same, but they're becoming too trendy of a bet, Jigga, that I'm back to Jose saying people are fading the Chiefs. But But like the Broncos are like, look at this team.
Look,
This offense is sick.
But the Chiefs will win it.
this offense isn't that good. This offense is not that good.
No, this offense is good. I mean, I will also say I'm a big believer in Judy and Javonte Williams. So for me, this offense is sick.
Okay, I'm not a huge believer in Javonte Williams.
Okay, that's fair. See, I like
See,
it.
I am a Judy fan.
Any team where Russell Wilson has not had a designated amazing dump off target, mostly Marshawn Lynch, occasionally Doug Baldwin, Russell Wilson's been pretty bad.
I'm hearing this guy though, and this is all hearsay, and I don't know who this guy is, but this is the guy that they're saying is becoming that guy for him. And I heard it through fantasy, I heard it through other things. I'm hearing that, this has been the guy that he's been leaning on again. But look, he didn't do anything last year.
I've been told so many times as a Seahawks fan, this is the tight end who's coming in, who's going to be the Russell Wilson guy. so many great. Jimmy Graham, absolutely useless with Russell Wilson. Will Disley, Greg Olsen. This guy cannot find a tight end on a goddamn field.
Let me throw this around though. Russell Wilson has always needed a dump off guy because he's never had a line. Could potentially that change that now he has like a pretty good line in front of him?
That's where it changes for Wilson.
He has
the
a
fact
solid
that
line
they do
in
have a
front
line.
of him.
Maybe his run game has fallen off quite a bit over the last 3 years.
See, that was my next point. We're not
Jose?
factoring in. You're taking. You got to take to account the legs on Wilson now too.
He
right?
is much transitioned to a deep ball passer than a runner.
Smoke is in the chat. He's in on them winning that division. Says
You
he
think
has a
they win that division?
worse in the run game.
I can't buy the 49ers and the Browns being better than the Ravens.
I expect the 49ers defense to be incredibly well. It really depends on what Trey Lance ends up being, which is so up in the air. I think it's
How do you put Browns at 10 when you don't even know your quarterback situation?
exactly. I would say those two,
how we
9 and
lost
10,
it.
those are such like gambles about what they're
Yeah.
going to be. I think that's terrible to put them up
Ravens should definitely be above 49ers and Browns. No
there. And I'll
question.
tell you,
I agree with you, Jigga.
I think the Dolphins are way too low at 17.
Gosh, you're making me do this several weeks in a row, and I hate it, okay? I do. But the Dolphins I think people need to be worried about the Dolphins.
People need to be worried about the Dolphins. People need to be worried about the Dolphins.
The
I'm
Dolphins
telling
are
you.
good, and I'll say they're underrated, but the Dolphins are a tad too trendy.
The Dolphins they don't make my top 10.
And the Colts
But
are
they
a
should be higher
tad
than
too
17.
under trendy for me. Like, I think the Colts are going to be good this year. I think there's going to be a significant difference in terms of what that team needs from Matt Ryan to Carson Wentz. In terms of skill at this stage of their career, I don't know who's better. If you need a 60-yard Hail Mary reverse throw, it's maybe Wentz. But for a team that's predicated on defense and handing the ball to Jonathan Taylor and not throwing 4 picks in Week 17 against the Jacksonville Jaguars to make the playoffs, I think Matt Ryan can do that. And I think
If the only thing that's required of Matt Ryan is to be a game
manager,
manager, that makes sense. I've never been a Ryan fan, but if that team, last year felt like such a fluke to me because out of nowhere, Jonathan Taylor is just the most dominant running back in football. That blew me away. That was insane. And
It blew everybody away. He was a machine.
if they're able to keep that up, they have such a good offensive line. They have such a good running back core. If Matt Ryan's able to come in there and just take it's actually very similar to what Tom Brady did with the Buccaneers, right? Yep. Which is that he came in there and he just took those 30 interceptions away. Yep. And all of a sudden they're winning a Super Bowl.
So Agent Squirrel says this power ranking has to be with Watson at quarterback. That makes sense. Fine. Whatever.
And just a fun fact, when you think about how important gun for hires are, the last 2 Super Bowl winners are Matt Stafford and Tom Brady playing in their first year after being careers on another team. So I think this is going to fast become a trend where, Matt Ryan did as much as he could for Atlanta. At this point, the 1 year, 2-year deal where the team has everything else, that has been a good combination in the past where, the Colts in that division, I think, have the potential maybe even to sneak in a bye because their division is so weak. They could, if they go 6-0 in the AFC AFC South, they could sneak a bye potentially.
I like what you're saying here, Zuka Lock. So you're telling me that if we had a bunch of offensive weapons, like say DK Metcalf, We say Tyler Lockett. We say a very talented running back coming in as a rookie. And we bring in just a first-year guy like Drew Lock. That's a Super Bowl, right?
Well, I would personally look at Drew Lock's history and Matt Ryan's history and maybe think they're a little different. But some people that have smoked a lot or drank a lot or put other substances in their bodies could potentially look at those two career numbers and say it's toss-up, I guess.
Why do we think the Cardinals are so low?
Because
Or
Kyler
are you
Murray doesn't
happy
watch
with them
film.
at 14?
Because he doesn't watch film, brother.
I
Hey,
think
that's
the
a
Cardinals
question from the chat.
I think the Cardinals are a bit low in these rankings. I think the Cardinals are better than the Cowboys at least. Honestly, I think the Cardinals are more likely to win the NFC West than the 49ers are. They have, if we're just talking about like floors, they have far fewer questions. Like, I have absolutely no idea what Trey Lance is, right? The guy played like 3 games in college. Like, what are we expecting there? Cardinals are a solid team all around. It's really just like their consistency throughout the season has been a question.
Let me throw something out for you to see if this changes your opinion at all. They lost, in my opinion, the most slept-on player in football in the offseason, and that's Chandler Jones, who's now on the Raiders. As a TJ Watt guy, I was always fighting for TJ Watt and then always saying to people like, and I seriously think Chandler Jones is the second best. And if you look at Chandler Jones's numbers, he's been a menace for years. And for them to lose that is like a significant, couldn't be like, that's like if we heard Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, or Joey Bosa.
Oh yeah, Chandler Jones is one of those guys.
Yeah.
And so when you think about that, like Chandler Jones joining the Raiders as well as Devontae Adams joining the Raiders, they're sitting at 16 on these rankings.
Now that we said Chandler Jones went there, I now want to move the Raiders up because we already said the Adams thing, and now we hit the Jones. Dude, Jones and Crosby is going to be insane. They're going to be chasing down Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, and Patrick Mahomes. That division is just setting up to be a freaking barn burner.
Like you look at that team, right? You have a more than serviceable quarterback with Derek Carr, right? And then you have one of the best wide receivers over the last 3 years in the NFL, Devontae Adams. You have one of the best tight ends. You have one of the best running backs. You're bringing in a couple of the best defensive players. Why is this team sitting at 16th?
Yeah, and so what's their new coach is one of the best offensive minds in the league, right? And people think he's being slept on.
The one day Peanuts not in chat is the one day we're all sitting around talking about how good the Raiders are.
The Raiders are the division. If the Raiders were in the AFC South instead of the Colts, we'd be saying the Raiders were a favorite to go to the Super Bowl, legitimately.
They're up there with the NFC West, right? One of the best divisions in football, where it's just such a stacked group of teams.
So forget the Seahawks. All right, we're taking that one off the plate. Who would you put dead last in the NFL?
Bears.
Chat, same question.
Bears or Falcons? Bears or Falcons?
I think Justin Fields is awful. I think the Bears are absolutely nothing on the offensive line. We're literally
Allen Robinson left to go join the Rams, right?
Roquan Smith, their best defensive player, is holding out. Their offensive coordinator said that they don't have enough. Literally said we don't have a finalized offensive line yet. We don't have anything. Their offensive weapons Darnell Mooney, he's good, but you're talking him up really because you have no one else. So that.
Yeah. So we all agree it's the Bears. I mean, even the chat.
I want to throw one out. That's a sleeper pick for maybe the finish is the worst of the team in the NFL. The Patriots. Have you heard these reports coming out of Patriots training camp?
No.
With Matt Patricia as offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I heard that.
The reports are they literally can't run an offense. Every single play ends with just a throwaway pass or a potential sack. The reports coming out about this team, Mac Jones regressing, them not having a decent receiver, them not having a decent running back, the defense seemingly falling apart. Them at 19, I honestly think they might finish as one of the worst teams in football.
I'll give it to you. I mean, if you look at the reports, right, and I pulled up a couple of them, like you said, verbatim, you have Mac coming out and saying, it's growing pains. We'll get it together. worst practice performance. Matt Patricia can't run an offense. I mean, it's over and over every single report. I'm sorry. For me, it's a beautiful day when you're sitting here saying reports are saying the Patriots are doo-doo. All right. I don't care about anything else on the list as long as I hear people saying Patriots are doo-doo.
I mean,
all right.
Look, John, the great coaches do this, and John Calipari has done it many years with his player. I'm sorry to let you know, Jigga, how this ends up is Belichick lets Patricia call the plays for the first two preseason games. They look terrible.
And that's
then he
it.
throws Patricia under the bus. He takes over the play calling. They keep it low key for the last two preseason games. And then in week one, Mac Jones is throwing 300 yards.
But Belichick's never been an offensive-minded guy. He has always had one of the a really, really good offensive coordinator to go with him.
Yeah, yes. Nothing you said in that statement is wrong, but also on the other end of it, it's also true to say that every single thing that the Patriots do has Belichick's like stamp all over it. So like, is McDaniels gone? Yes, but I legitimately think he still leaves everything behind for like someone else to be able to kind of follow, in his footsteps. And could I be wrong? But again, it's kind of like them betting on something to happen that's never happened before, and that would be a Bill Belichick team to not be successful. But there is a first time for anything, and your reports are true reports. So, who's to say?
Look, all I'm saying is here's my guarantee. Clip this out, save it for the end of the season. I see you, Jason Wright. I know you're gonna do this.
I was waiting to
the Seahawks are gonna finish better than the Patriots this year. Clip it out, make the prediction.
I will say the same about the Jets. People can sleep on us. I know I'm a fan. I'm holding back till the season starts. They're sleeping on the Jets. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know
I think
what?
we've got
They're
some
sleeping
weapons.
on the Steelers. People are sleeping on the Steelers.
I agree.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Okay, but let me ask you a
Coach
question,
Richie's
though.
not here. Coach Richie's not here. They're sleeping on the Lions too.
The best bet in sports is like the Steelers to win their division because the other three teams are like plus 200, and then the lowly Mike Tomlin team that's never finished under 500 is like at plus 850. That's not even me telling you that they're going to win. That's just me telling you that plus 850 now in the division where Deshaun Watson may be out for the year. Lamar Jackson hasn't signed a contract. The Bengals have only done it once, even though I do believe in them. Like, who the hell knows? And is Mitch Trubisky good? No.
He's won a playoff game.
He didn't win, but he got double doinked. He did enough to win a playoff game if he didn't get double
Zook and
doinked.
his doinks.
So, like Mitch Trubisky has won games before. He's not going to be the reason you win games, but the Steelers have that team where they don't need a quarterback. Ben stunk last year, and they made the playoffs. Ben was the worst quarterback in the league. He couldn't move. He couldn't do anything.
They have one of the most, oppressive defenses at times that you've ever seen, right? Like, TJ Watt, when he's, really on it, it's insane.
Yeah. I mean,
right,
their problem is they're built backwards. The two most important things is where they are the worst. If you take quarterback and offensive line out, the Steelers are a top 5 team in the league. Their receivers, their running back, Freiermuth at tight end, their defense. It's just when you add those two really crucial points.
Yeah, it's just when you add the two most important positions in the game, and then all of a sudden.
So, one more question before we end this tonight, guys. And not choosing one of our own teams. We'll do our early prediction here.
Okay.
Who do you see as a surprise team this year that, for real, people are sleeping on? Not one of our own teams.
I've been consistent about this. I think the Dolphins are going to be very, very good this year. When we did the Tua news, we had Kung Fu D on and stuff. I legitimately think the Dolphins are going to be very good this year. I believe in that coach quite a bit. They're bringing in a lot of offensive styles that I think are very, very supportive to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I think Tua's really going to impress people his first full year as a healthy quarterback. I like what I see out of that team.
Good call. All right, Zook. We got Smoke in the chat. He's going with the Saints.
You know who I really like, and again, I like them even more after I saw the rankings. The Vikings. The Vikings are kind of nice. The Vikings got Kevin O'Connell, who is the coach of the offensive coordinator of the Rams. So he has a little bit of background in terms of that. I'm a Cousins guy. I know people hate on Cousins. He hasn't been great in big games either. I don't think he's horrid. I don't think he's terrible. Like, if I'm sitting here and saying that Matt Ryan can make the playoffs, I certainly think Kirk Cousins can. They have the best you know what? I'll say it. They have the best receiver in football. I think Dalvin Cook is a tier 1 running back, and running backs are all interchangeable. I'll tell you Najee Harris is the best, but I'll also tell you that tier 1, they're all the same. Their offensive line got better, and their defense is okay. More so my play on them is a play on the division that the Bears suck. Jared Goff is terrible, and the Packers take a huge step back without Devontae Adams, so their path is kind of clean. So, now that we're going outside of power rankings, which is looking at teams in a vacuum and more into sleepers, I'm taking the division into account, and I'll go Vikings.
I like the pick. I wasn't a believer in the Vikings, but the things you laid out in that, I like that quite a bit.
So, and tell me if this isn't an option, but I think the Raiders are slept on. I really do.
Based on those power rankings, like, seriously.
I think they're slept on.
The division, you're right. It's because the division is fucking killing them, dude. Like, everyone's talking
but you know
about
what? I think they've made
they've
made moves though, right? I mean, Devontae, you've got Hunter Renfro.
I think the Chargers are way too overvalued in that division.
Way too high.
I don't think the Broncos are going to be nearly as good as people think they're going to be. I honestly think the Raiders are going to be in contention for that division. Now, I mean, that's a team that historically has like way underperformed, expectations just because the organization is kind of. But
the Chargers did get Jason
and I wouldn't be surprised if Odell's still out there, and I still believe Odell can be a big piece for anybody, and I wouldn't sleep on the fact that you could possibly see Odell Beckham get signed by the Raiders. If he goes to the Raiders, I think it's a game changer for them as well.
Yeah, the tough thing is if he waits, it's obviously going to be he's going to want to go to a good team.
To the Rams. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
to the Rams.
And even if things go the way they're probably going to, the Raiders might come in last. So there's a chance where even if they're good, we're sitting here week 6 and they're 2-4, and Odell won't go to them. But I agree with you 100%. If this is a team that jumps out to a 4-2, 5-1 hard start, Odell has to 100% consider playing across from Devontae Adams with Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been a nice, long, exciting night.
God,
okay.
Wow.
And the problem is I know we can keep going forever. And there's nothing but time. Zook, man, great job with the pickle juice. That was dope.
Thanks. Yeah, she's texting me. She had so much fun. And I hope everyone got the same thing, that she was just cool. And she'll be back, and her partner, Megan, is super cool. Also, you can see them play on YouTube all the time. What she was kind of saying is, if you didn't understand, this week the Selkirk is a one-off tournament where every game they switched partners, so they didn't get to play with their normal partner. But normally she plays with this woman, Megan, and they're so freaking good together.
Yeah, we'll be
and one
checking
thing
it out
that I'll talk about with Jigga behind the scenes is when the people, to give back for the people that come on the show, as we do with our teams, like we did with the VBA tonight, if we find out Elise is playing, one night over the weekend, we'll post in our Discord, and we'll all go into the YouTube PPA, and we'll talk in the Discord, but watch on the YouTube together. And I guarantee once you guys watch,
we're definitely going to do some watch parties and everything for sure. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Jose, next week is quarterbacks.
Top 3 quarterbacks.
Top 3 quarterbacks on the list.
Oh,
I just got my list already, man. I already figured it out.
Can I just ask you real quick? Because I was talking to her. I was watching you guys, but then I had to sign off to talk to Elise. Who would you guys say were your top 3 receivers?
Well, for me, I went Calvin Johnson at 3.
Oh,
I went Jerry Rice at ever.
Okay.
Calvin Johnson at 3, Jerry Rice at 2, Randy Moss at 1.
So you just like to stir up. Okay, Jigga.
I went Brandon Marshall, AJ Green, and Michael Irvin as my squad. So again, we're building squads, and those 3 are different from what everybody. I knew they were going to grab Calvin. I knew they were going to go with Randy Moss's, right? So I said, you know what? I want to switch it up with guys that I know can still put up dope numbers and will win me a game when we simulate this. And those are my 3.
Okay.
Go ahead, Zook. Real quick, drop your 3.
Go ahead, bro.
Wait, off the dome, what you got?
Like a draft, or am I taking my top 3?
Your top 3.
Top 3 all time.
Oh, okay,
you're playing on a team. You have 3 wide receivers on your team.
Jerry Rice is 1.
Cap.
Randy Moss is 2.
Cap.
And Larry Fitzgerald is 3. with
Fits.
there being a severe, like, Randy Moss is underrated. People walk around saying Jerry Rice is the GOAT as if it's unquestioned. You look at
Yes,
Randy
thank
Moss's prime.
Yeah,
He had a
Moss,
better
Randy
prime.
Moss.
Jerry Rice was just good, like it's like LeBron. Like for me, I'm like you, Jose, in terms of I think LeBron is the best ever. But if someone
When
says,
did I
like,
say that?
No,
Who
no,
put that in? What?
No. I'm saying in terms of you saying Randy Moss is the
Okay,
best.
okay,
I'm saying it's
okay.
like if I say LeBron is the best, if someone were to say to me, okay, Michael's the best, I don't argue. I feel like
Okay.
it's similar like when you say Randy Moss is the best, if someone says Jerry Rice, you're
Yes.
like, okay, like I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I get
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That was the analogy. Not that you're saying.
Okay, don't. Yeah, the way you
Like,
framed
hold
it.
on,
You're like,
hold on.
look, I'm like
no,
you.
no.
I think LeBron's the best. Okay.
No.
So, well, before we go, everybody in the chat, tomorrow night, the night shift with me and Drew Austin, and we're interviewing the Red Village teams coming on. We'll be talking all things Red Village. We're going to talk about tournaments. We're going to see what's going on with our actual Battle of the Four Houses tournament that's been going on. And I was going to do our little regular outro thing, but instead, I'll just leave you with the DJ Huddle teaser. Peace.
Shining and boy, we winning. We about to make a killing. I don't care what you feeling. I know you wanna steal it. Want it, then come and get it. You want it, then come and get it. You want it, then come and get it. Hold up, wait a minute.